Get 'em Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, March 27th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Our first show post PBA Palooza, and I'm not transitioning well to home life. I have not slept in 23 hours, and I don't know what to tell you other than I've capped the card. I've capped the card hard. I have done that. I've had a lot of time to do that as I've not been spending it sleeping. Shout out to all the cappers rolling with us. We got a Morgan Spooner in the house. Seattle U moneyline -120. I knew you'd be on them, Morgan. I know you've liked this Red Hawk squad. We have a great show for today. C-Mac's going to join us for NHL. Then we're going to have both Mikey Money and C-Mac together. The three of us are going to cap the CBI Championship, the CIT Championship, and then the two quarterfinals in NIT before Dutch Boy Fresh joins us for the huge 12-game NBA card, which is our focal point. And I almost moved on two bets, but I've stopped myself in NBA. I was like, you know what? I don't know how clearly I am thinking. So I'll wait till I'll break it down with you guys and with the chat. So let's lock in Morgan Spooner, Seattle U Redhawks. That's a beautiful game for us today. 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Anybody out west who wants to get through their workday easier can put money on the High Point Panthers for Seattle U Redhawks. We got Gerald Jones in the house, been on a monster run since the Super Bowl. Indiana Pacers -2.5 for Gerald Jones. Justin McKelvey, Rockets +7. Rockets in the throes of a 9-game winning streak. With OKC on the second half of back-to-back, it's a fascinating situation. Capping-wise, I can't wait to talk about all these games. They're really nice spots. Mr. Vape in the house. Maccabi Tel Aviv double result in EuroLeague basketball. Says if you can shop around, it's worth it. Some books have -140. He did find a -130. There's our guy, the Nuke Worker, and he starts his day going heads up with Morgan Spooner. He is on the High Point Panthers, and we will break it all down right here with you guys. Let me just get that up here. And let me lock in the Morgan Spooner and Nuke Worker action. Great to see all of you guys. We got Johnny Guns says, is the recovery? It's not going well. It's not going well. He says, who won in Canada versus USA golf match? You know, I'm not sure if I should tell you guys because our video is coming out here. Should I not?
Please don't tell them.
Okay.
Yes, do not tell them.
I will not. I can tell you it went down to the wire. I can tell you there was hijinks. There was a lot going on. You know, Jose, stay with me here. Stay with me as we do the opening. So I will not tell you because that video is coming out here shortly. And yes, Johnny Guns, I beat Spenny in ping pong. He's got a much longer wingspan than me, probably more athletically gifted than me, but just simply not mentally tough enough to take me out.
Yeah, especially you went down 5-1 and you mentally brutalized him after that.
Yes, we played $100 a game. I beat him the first 2 times. Then he wanted more, and
yeah, he did.
I care about Spenny, you know, and I don't want Spenny to, you know, he's a good friend of mine. Like I don't want to just gank him, right, Jose? I'm not just down there to gank my friends.
But you did.
No, I gave him $100 free roll in Game 3. I gave him $100 free roll in Game 3. Game 3, $100 free roll. So you know, if he loses, he wanted more. He wanted more. And
what was the result of that game?
I was his Huckleberry. It was close. I took him out 21-18. He was I did have him down like game point like 2014. He got 4 unanswered. Thought that he had a little bit of hope. And then I stabbed him in the throat. So it was good. I went undefeated in NBA Jam, but nobody would play me for $100 a game. But I went undefeated.
Of
But
course
Troy
not.
Torrance, one game did take me to overtime. But
Mm,
then again, the mental toughness comes in, Jose.
sure. I think
mean,
you derive this mental toughness from not sleeping.
no, I don't. I hate this feeling so much, dude. I hate this feeling so much. So, but I'm okay right now. 23 hours. The fear is tomorrow's show.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
the huge fear.
Everyone on their chat better be on their P's and Q's tomorrow, because if he hasn't slept, someone's gonna get ganked.
That could happen here tonight. I could hear that. You know, one of the few things I remember from Palooza. I remember, making the horrible mistake of moving on the Kraken on the way back from the horse track. I had, it's a 25-minute drive. I'm sitting there, for, like humming and hawing for 15 minutes, going over all the numbers, sitting there, and I make the move. And I talk about how, how good it's been going when your team goes down to live bet them right away. And I said, I thought about live betting them down 2-0. And then our friend, Nicholas Earl, said, do you like him now? Jimmy, it's 4-0. And I remember being filled with rage towards Nicholas Earl, who's someone I've capped with for a long time, filled with rage.
Sure.
And I'm so happy that he didn't whisper that in my ear or say that a few feet from me,
Yeah. He is also fortunate as well, because his ECU Pirates were in town during Palooza as well for baseball. Number 10 in the country, Jim.
Wow. Impressive.
And could you believe they got their ass beaten 2-1? So they can suck my dick as well.
Wow. Well, they weren't going to suck mine, but you can have that all to yourself. All to yourself. They will set up a line. We'll charge charge entry. Yes. I won't go in because of the stink. I won't go in.
The stink would be horrendous. Yeah. It will be horrendous. Because as you know, Jimmy, my pussy was disgusting.
Oh God.
By the way, that day I barged into my apartment at 2:30 or whenever it is, and I just said, obviously, my pussy is disgusted.
No.
And Matthew looked at me and said, "What does that mean?" And Alexis looked at me and said, "What does that mean?" And then I apparently just came in like a bull and just knocking shit over. So I can
tell you what it means. It means that we're not going to be able to sell advertising on today's show. That's what it means. That's what it means, Jose. That's what it means. Michael Johnson in the house. So says, what's good, Jimmy? Looks like the Kings might be back for a playoff push. Fingers crossed. No, there's no might be. They're going to be a very, very difficult out. Very difficult out come playoff time.
They got their shit back together?
Do the Kings? I mean, yeah. I'd still like them to finish very strongly, but yes, I think they're going to be a very, very tough out. Jay Smooth Balls play of the day is the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors +4. Let's lock that in right now. Golden State Warriors +4. Wine Time Sports in the house. Wine Time Sports. You know what his action was yesterday? The Los Angeles Lakers +9.5.
Nice.
What a monster Wine Time is. Austin Reeves with a triple-double. If Austin Reeves can get a triple-double in the NBA, who can't?
Yeah, he's bringing back white people in the NBA.
I don't know if he's bringing them back, but he did get a triple-double. Wine Time Sports, Lakers. I can't wait to hear what you're going to do with this 12-game card. Guillermo Zertucci. Did the Zertucci family not make Palooza?
Of course. Two things. At the poker tournament, Jimmy, shout out to Brooklyn Square Card Parlor. Great host. It was a great time. Masseuses, the whole nine. It was awesome. Jimmy was in a trance, but we don't have to talk about that right now. It was just quite funny that it seemed like all of G's, friends, compadres, comrades, all of them were at the final table. It was hilarious. I just saw the whole Zertucci clan just right there. Everyone he brought along. I was like, holy shit, G, what the hell is this? So shout out to G.
I have very little recollection of that. I do know that Big Show made a monster call against me, and I was the one who I was 10th or whatever. It was a 10-player final table. I was the last one out to create the final table. And that play is going, that hand is over and over and over in my head. I can't get it out of my head. I don't think I needed to force it there, push it there, and shout out to Big Show Picks. There is Kent Davies in the house. Where's my? I got the Illinois poker chip. I know we don't pronounce the S. My fault. I haven't slept.
Shout out to Kent Davies.
I've got it.
Shout out to Kent Davies. It was a great to see him on Wednesday as well.
Here it is. See, look.
I think it was Wednesday.
I told you. Even in my most intoxicated, if somebody gives me something that
he knows where things are.
No, just somebody gives me something that they care about that's important. Even in my most intoxicated, even in my just liquidated, I will not let that shit go. And thank you, Ken. It means a ton to me. Razor Sharp Picks in the house. Another guy who made Jay Peasy. These guys just made it so special. Troy Torrance, Nuke Worker. You guys made it so special. And there's Nordy. Nordy says, "What up, Jimmy and the gang? Just hanging at the hospital, passing time. It's surgery day for my wife." Now, we've hinted a little bit as to what's going on in the Nordman family, but just hinted at it. We've sent out all this positive energy and all this love and all the strength to the Norman family. And I didn't know that today was the day. So today is the day. So if we could all just keep doing that, keep shining, whatever light you have, because we're gamblers, that light can go away at times. Whatever light you have, can you please send it to Nordy? That's the handle that he uses is Rebecca Evans. That is his wife's handle. So that's Nordy.
It is funny Nordy. Every time. Yeah, shout out to Nordy.
But please, Nordy, we are thinking about your wife. We know how strong she is and how strong your family is, and you're going to start getting. Well, you already got some really hopeful news, and soon you're going to get some great news. I just feel it. I feel it in my soul that that positivity is coming. So we'll be thinking about you all day, Nordy. So that I need to have that at the top of my worksheet here. Must be at the top of my worksheet. Now, do you see how we've had a 13-minute opening here, Jose? And you and I have stuff to talk about, but we can't have a 13-minute opening tomorrow.
That's true, yeah.
That's
facts, yeah.
So
let me refresh real quick as well, because obviously my apartment Wi-Fi has just been shitting on my pants this whole day so far. So give me a second. Jesus.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if it's shitting on. It'd probably be shitting in, but we don't need to, semantics. Although in comedy, I'm not a comic. I haven't been a comic for 5 years, 17, 18, but semantics are crucial, and it would be in rather than on. Michael Johnson in the house. Slatsy ready to go. Rocco Rogers says, beautiful day of NHL yesterday. Love the slate tomorrow. Says the glory of fading the flames is a favorite, comes with ease. Let's get after it today. Jose back in business. A real deal prime Sabres money line. Now that's good money. Sammy Calmer, Julian Cesario. There's Coin in the house. Puts them on the under 151. There's Gonzo in the house.
Yes.
Guy who makes going to San Antonio very special. And I'd like to go to his ranch. I'd like to go to Gonzo's ranch one time when we go down to PBA Palooza. What a guy he is. Isn't he just quality?
It would just be hilarious to have on the PBA Palooza schedule Gonzo's ranch. And those who know, those who don't.
Well, I haven't shot many AR-15s, so I've shot zero. I'll be honest. I've
shot zero guns as well. No guns.
Oh, I've shot rifles in the backcountry, Alberta backcountry. Oh, I've gone to my boys' trapping land and gotten hammered up with the rifle, and I've done all that. I mean, I'm just a man, Jose. All right, and you'll get the chance to do that too, because I probably was right around your age when I did it. There'll be a rifle and probably AR-15 at Gonzo's ranch. Shout out to our guy Gonzo in the house.
Shout out to you guys.
BT ready to go. Mal. You know who I didn't get to hang out with enough was Vincent Siggers. I saw I basically went like that one time with him, and he's another Texas guy. I wish I had more time with him. Wish I had
Vincent. I barely remember you being there, Vincent. Sorry about that.
But he's in the picture. He's in a great picture with all the squad. I wish we had more time, Vincent. Let's go. We got to do a more. What ups here, but we got a ton of work to do, and I'm way behind on the chat here right now. So
Yeah.
Kent Davies has bet Bruins Lightning regular time draw in under 6. I can't wait to talk about these games. Mally Mouse says MLB is upon us, and that's what we want to be talking about here. But look at our guy Jake Flanagan says, newer member, been cashing on some of the picks of this channel and the bag and being given out. Only right to give back. Keep up the great work. Much love and God bless. Jake Flanagan making me not think of not sleeping. Right there. Thank you, Jake. That means a ton to us. Thank you for your support.
Thanks, Jake.
You know, Andrew McCool, you can, there he is, my man. Andrew McCool, you can bounce too. We don't need you here. We don't need you. God. We don't even want you. So you can bounce, buddy. You can bounce because we just had an extremely important trip for our lives. And you know whose lives I don't care about? Oh, I said Andrew. Andre McCool's life. I don't give a fuck. You know, and if you were close enough to me, oh God.
No. Mm-hmm.
Oh God. First thing I would do is open hand slap him in the face. Then I'd pull out a sharpened chopstick. Just a little slit right here. Not like on a major artery, you know, just a little slit right there. Then I would hang my ball sack.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of right on the bridge of his nose.
Where? Right here?
Hang it there for a little while. And I turn up the heat really high. Like we're talking ridiculous, humid, sweaty heat.
Yes.
And then I would drink a tall glass of Tijuana tap water.
Sure.
And I would drink it fast. While hanging over Andre McCool.
I think one of my favorite moments of PBA Palooza was you asking me if the tap water was safe to drink in San Antonio.
It does change some of the dialogue that I would have throughout the week.
That was your gringo moment of the week right there. I had a good laugh out of that.
It would change my dialogue here.
I also
yeah.
I got a good laugh out of you talking to one of my cousins who only spoke Spanish. I did get a good laugh out of that. I was watching you and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. This is Puerto Rico, Costa Rica all over again.
I did my best. I tried to buy him a drink too, and he would not have it. He had to buy all the drinks too. Lo siento, mi español no bueno. He didn't care for.
No, he didn't. He was out on that. But you're right, by the way, before I bounced earlier, 18-minute intro. And obviously, thanks to Conor Mac for fucking sitting back there patiently. But I definitely can say we can't do this tomorrow because MLB, the NCAA tournament, NBA, fucking everything is going to be tomorrow. So NHL. So it's going to be a loaded show tomorrow, and it's going to be fun.
We can't have a 20-minute intro for Andre's sake. You know,
for Andre's sake, at the very least. No, if I would respect Andre a little more if he was a member, especially today, because as you know, Jimmy, the horses are going. And by the way, one Sean Swiggs, not Higgs, had a good suggestion.
Yeah,
we should do the horse race heats in between segments. So one beginning.
We don't have time for that, man. We got it. We're gambling. We're capping. That's for the end because, look. Andre McCool says, "Love you so much. Been following from day one." Andre, I haven't slept, so I'm sorry if I came on a little harsh. Okay, I apologize.
I thought it was warranted. Andre, you can suck our taint for taking a slow time here.
No, but he's right. But that's why we can't have the horse action in between because we're here. There's some people who just want to gamble, and that's what we're going to do for you. That's what we are just going to.
Are you telling me that this ain't gambling with these ponies? We're always gambling.
Okay. So there's so many guys that I want to give a shout out to here that rocked with us. And the shout outs will come throughout. There's so many cappers that weren't there that wanted to be there, that cared, that care about what was going on there. And we talked about you guys, and you were in our thoughts, and there's and then there were like guys who were like Julian Cesario. Wasn't he just absolute Money in the Bank, winning the bracket contest right now? So there's so much to talk about. But the main thing right now here is our card. But MLB starts tomorrow. And Jose, do you want to talk about how you Say Hey Plays is going to be delivered this year on Pub Sports Radio.
Yeah, we're just gonna be me and you together, basically. Father-son capping duo, Tuesday through Friday, obviously with Low Shack, and Say Hey Plays on the weekends is gonna be a great time. It's gonna be your normal Say Hey Plays. We'll do it at I think we'll start at 11 Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, but that'll be a great time, and we'll have a rotating panel of guests, obviously, and then Monday with Mikey and the Medicaid Monday boys to give out best bets and stuff. So it's gonna be a great time.
It's So 7 days a week, Jose is going to go for every day.
Yeah, it was just better. It just felt that better doing it that way.
We'll see when he breaks down. We'll see when he breaks down.
I am also trying to go to the All-Star game this year, and
I would
Dallas
stop
too.
I would cut the reverse sweep Ramon though. I would cut it. I would not have it up there.
By the way, I've completely forgotten it's up there. I had no idea.
We don't forget. We never forget. You don't want that stink on you. Get that stink on you.
And well, by the way, 2-0.
And Andre McCool, 90 hours old. Okay, let's just
90 hours old. But yeah, I'm 2-0 on the young baseball season so far, so I'll take it.
Okay, so let's get to work here. Witch Hub says Low Shack best homeless capper. Witch Hub says, Jimmy, if you were American, would you take Biden or Trump, baby? The one thing that I was taught from Peter Loshak, who were all cut from his cloth, was that when somebody asks you a political question or any kind of important question, you put your head in the sand and then you pull it back out and you start gambling. So let's get right to work. Jose will be starting his role here on Betting with the Bag tomorrow with a huge MLB card. And Jose, the whole show's on the line.
Oh no, it's even more than that. Our lives are on the line, Jimmy, as you know.
Well, yours is because. Okay, fine. You're right. We're both our lives are on the line, but I think it's more important to your life as this is your sport. Like I could struggle a little bit in baseball and run through the playoffs like a monster in NHL.
Sure.
So it's the pressure is on you, and I believe you can handle the pressure. You're a gambler and you can handle the pressure. So God bless you.
Hey, again, 2-0 so far in the baseball season on regular season plays. We'll take it. I have not lost a bet in baseball season yet, Jimmy. So
I'm impressed.
Well, what are we gonna say?
All right. Well, let's get to work here in NBA. Wow, that's all right. That's you're gonna have to be bounced. It sucks bouncing someone who's been such a fun person on the channel, but sorry, Max on record, you are bounced. Okay, so let's get to work. See, look at Rodney Barton. He says something kind of horrifying, but that doesn't get you bounced. All right, let's get to work here. We have NHL on the card, 2 fascinating games, and I will speed up the pace. I'm sorry for the longer opening. But the one last person I want to give a shout out to is Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate's still in San Antonio, still rocking Palooza. What a guy. You brought so much fun to the week, and you're the real deal, man. So thank you to all that you brought. It meant a ton, Nate. Okay, let's go. No, Razor, you won't be bounced. You won't be bounced. BT says, felt like I was being celebrity seeing all you guys break some. BT, we needed more time with you, man. We needed more time with BT. We needed more time, but we'll be back next year. And then also Von Polo saying my city's going through it right now, talking about Charm City. Said the bridge collapsed and yesterday was crazy. My mother-in-law takes that bridge every day around that time. So sorry. It's scary. That stuff is scary. And we love Baltimore. And I think the Orioles will bring it all back for you guys. Bring it all back. So let's get to work. And Newcourt says still in San Antonio. Yeah, absolutely. And then also, there was one other thing that Andrew McCool. If you were 90 hours old or 90 years old or whatever, Andre, sorry, God, I'm going to mess up reading today because I haven't slept. But Andre, thank you for supporting the channel, my friend. Let's get to work. Let's bring on your first guest of our post-Palooza run here in going into the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs and MLB coming on, finals of the NCAA tournament and all of that. It's going to be a lot of action in the next little while. Please welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada. Rolling with us in NHL and NCAA basketball. Make it a Mac Daddy in the house. C-Mac, how are you?
Jimmy, I am good. Shout out to the chat. Fired up today. You gotta love it post Pub 3. And I always love it to start the day. The chopsticks have already been mentioned. The cutting of the throat. I love it. That's just it's pumped me up. Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah. I love it.
Look at JPZ in the chat. There's these names that meant so much to our trip. The JPZ, LJ. I think that was the highlight for me. The highlight of PBA Palooza for me was Saturday night. You're at that perfect drunk on Saturday night. You're perfect high. You know, you're with your best friends, and JPZ and LJ rock the stage in the Southtown 101. That was my favorite moment. My favorite moment of the trip. So JPZ, you're the man. All right, it's time to get to work here. Two fascinating games in the NHL. Let's start 7 p.m. Eastern. We have the Ottawa Senators 30-36-4, 11-20-2 on the road. The Buffalo Sabres 34-33-5, 17-17-1 at home. We're at KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. Jonas Korpisalo 17-21-4, 3.33 goals against average, 888 save percentage. UP Luukkonen. I give him the Luo for actually. Luukkonen 24-18-3, 2.48 goals against average, 913 save percentage, 5 shutouts. We had a game when we were in PBA Palooza, San Jose, Chicago. And Gokster got everybody on the Blackhawks. And I was just saying that game had so much volatility. Like the volatility was through the roof. I was like, I don't know, Gokster, how you can be so confident in Chicago and get everybody on Chicago. So then you know, the Sharks go up 4-0 and the Blackhawks storm back and win 5-4 in overtime. And I was so glad that they did. But this is a similar type hockey game to me. I believe that the volatility is out of control. And part of the reason why I will say something like that is because I could make legitimate stances on either team and the over. But this total was moving towards the under, and I do not want Buffalo back from this trip. So let's set this one up here for CMAC. Ottawa is right now is plus 126. They opened up at plus 118. I saw it when there had been an 11-cent move against them up to plus 129, so it's come back a little bit. When we go over previous games, it's like if you look at Ottawa's played every game to the over, and how long? How long has it been? I mean, at least the last 5. I don't have that in front of me. And this total under 6.5 is at minus 109. So this opened up with the over 6.5 at Pinnacle at minus 116. It's now at minus 103. There's been a 13-cent move to what I would say is the plain and simple spot here would be the over. The Senators coming off their second straight win, 5-3 at home over the Oilers on Sunday night. Now, that was a huge win. They were outshot 36-16 in that victory. Korpisalo has been terrible this year, but he's looked strong over his last 2. Now, I made a point, and I've been watching the Senators team closely. I made a point that they're missing 4 centers due to injury. Josh Norris, Zach McEwen, Matthew Highmore, and Rourke Chartier. But it's not as bad as it sounds because Shane Pinto is stepping up and showing that he will be a top 6 forward in the NHL. He has played 29 games. He's got 21 points. He's a +7, and I like seeing it. Stützle center in the second line with Drew and Angus Crookshank. And shout out to Angus Crookshank and the Crookshank family out of North Vancouver, BC, the North Shore, where I grew up. He's 20 years younger than me, almost to the day, and he's forced his way into the NHL as a 5th-round draft pick. He's got heart. If Ryan Johansson had half, a quarter of Angus Crookshank's heart, Ryan Johansson would be a top 10 player in the NHL. Shout out to the Crookshank family and Angus Crookshank. He stepped up in Belleville, and now he's on the second line in the NHL. Then you have Ridley Gregg center in the third line. He leads the Senators in plus-minus at +13. And so you have the +7 from Shane Pinto. The Sabres snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 4-1 win at Calgary on Sunday to finish up a 5-game road trip at 2-3. So now they come home. Is this where you want them? Buffalo's been dealing with long-term absences from Matthias Hamilton and Jack Quinn. They have right winger Lucas Rusek and Tyson Jost each day-to-day. Take it away for us. And Razor coming in with his gambler's first glance. So that's the same as Coins action Very interesting. The corner of Coin and GFG Boulevard, a very nice boulevard to make money on. Take it away. I've copied and pasted that. And shout out to Kong's Clips in the house. Says Crookshanks are what you get hit with in prison. Yeah, man. Angus Crookshanks. That guy you want to mess with? That's a guy who fights his way into the NHL. And he's a top 6 forward on this team right now, playing on the second. Oh, that's not Gambler's First Glance. Okay, thank you.
Not Gambler's First Glance.
But it's a college basketball move for Razor. Thank you. Take it away. This game is really tricky, C-Mac.
Yeah, I think it's really tricky. Shout out to Razor. I like that. We talked about on the show yesterday with Seattle, their pace of play and their defense. And Loshak all over it. Double up. We were on that. So hopefully some of you guys were in that Seattle game. But Real Deal Prime, I want to shout out Nordy real quick too, Jimmy. Just I'm thinking of him. You mentioned it at the top, my guy. Just thinking about you. Kong's Clips. Hell yeah, member. Old E. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate it. Let's get to the game you mentioned. Pinto. Greg, I wanted to bring up. I thought he's played pretty well, like you just did there, Jimmy, on the third line at center. This game is the kind of the ultimate flip. And I think the line's right here. Buffalo's at home where they play their better hockey. They're slight favorites. Both these teams haven't been consistent all year long. Their penalty kills haven't been great. Either Korpisalo, obviously Buffalo has the advantage in net. Korpisalo, the last few games, has looked a little bit better, but I don't buy it. I mean, he shows flashes where he has a couple of good games, and maybe that's the time to fade him today with the Sabres team total. I don't want to be involved in the game. I hate to, like you said, I'd lean to the over, thinking there's a lot of goals. I think it's 6 straight with the over, like you were talking about, for the Sens. And I'm sure there's some goals here. I just didn't move on this game in the end.
I have got my NBA. I'm down 4 units on the season now. I had fallen off badly, and I'm close to the black. I'm very close to doing the same thing in NHL. And this just means too much to me. Everything just means too much to me right now. I do not want weighted coin flips. There was a time that I did. That time's over. So,
I hear.
All right, let's roll on. And look, this is not about picks. We bet these games, and for those of you guys moving on the game, respect. Let's move on. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Boston Bruins 41-16 and 15, 18-7-9 on the road at Tampa Bay Lightning 39-25 and 7, 21-9 and 4 at home at Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Linus Ullmark is listed. I'm not sure if he will be in, if it's him, because it must have been Swayman last night. What am I talking about? Vasilevsky 26-16 and 2.94 goals against average, 8.97 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Tampa Bay 29% power play, 82.4% penalty killing. Linus, in the Bruins 23.6% power play, 82.1% penalty killing. Kent Davies says now this game there's angles. So I expected to be on the Tampa Bay Lightning. They had that incredible road trip. Do you want a team after a 5-game road trip where they go 4-0-1? Well, the answer is no. But you want to fade. I want to fade the Bruins. I've got a couple strong statements about this spot. And I had planned on, and we're going to need information from you guys in the chat. So if we could get a couple things for you guys to, and I'll get to that, whom I need to know about. So first off, this total is a 6. It's a pick'em at Pinnacle right now. It opened, slightly juiced to the under. So there's been a 2-cent move to the over. Then from a money line standpoint here, we have Tampa at minus 112. They opened up at minus 105, got up to minus 115. I don't want to say that tells me that Hedman and Braden Point are in and they're not actually hurt and they were just given a rest day. But that's the most important aspect of this hockey game to me, is Braden Point and Victor Hedman. Look, Hayden Fleury is a decent bottom pair defenseman, but he's been out for 5 games. This is not about him. This is about Braden Point, Victor Hedman. They didn't play against Anaheim. They had the back-to-back. So let's start with the Bruins. Bruins second half back-to-back, a 4-3 win at Florida last night. These guys beat each other up. 90 hits in this hockey game, 90 hits and 42 shots combined. These guys were beating each other up. These guys don't like each other. The win snapped a 2-game losing streak. Tampa comes home after that very strong road trip. It ended with a 3-2 overtime win at Anaheim on Sunday. So the win over Anaheim, their third game in 4 nights, they did it with Jonas Johansson in net, no Braden Point, no Hedman, no Fleury. So it's not okay. If this was a 7-game playoff series and everybody was healthy and it started in Boston because they would earn home ice advantage, I'd be on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think the Bruins have a ton of character and they're a really good hockey team. But I think the missing Bergeron, missing Krejci is going to show. Now, even though, they've had centers step up and Charlie Coyle looks at times like he could be top 6 forward. Pavel Zacha's helped out whether he plays center or the wing. And Slatsy says, beat reporter in Tampa says Point and Hedman likely to play. Fanatical Jim saying they're both likely and we're on power play 1 in morning skate with Paul, who is elevated. Guillermo Zertucci says West Coast road trip doesn't concern you. Yes, it concerns me. But, and I want you to touch on this, C-Mac, your thoughts on this part. The long road trip in NBA and NHL, it's devastating when you have the long road trip, you have the next day off, which you travel, and then you play the following game.
Correct.
The Lightning have the extra day. And I'm talking myself into the Tampa Bay Lightning. Is the extra day, so they played Sunday night, they flew back Monday, they had Tuesday to take care of their business, maybe have an optional skate, and then they had the skate this morning. Take it away, C-Mac.
Yeah, that's the one thing that leans me to Tampa, in this spot. These are always such great games. Some people, put in here. Yeah, I think it's worth these Wednesdays, more on the full card, Jimmy. I think we track everything a unit. I'll get to that in a bit because I think this game has a draw all over it if you want to put something on it. Yeah, Point have to be in. And all I've heard, they were at the morning skate like people talked about in here that put it there. They're both in that I've heard. I think they were just taking the day off, like you were mentioning. They're just on that trip against the Ducks, take it off, come back rested for this big one. And I'm leaning heavy to the Lightning here. Boston off a back-to-back, who played well last night. There was low shots in that game, too. I think both teams, Florida and Boston, it was right around 20. Yeah. 21 each. So very tight there. But in the end, man, this seems like one Tampa or nothing, and I have nothing. Maybe a live bet. I have made a move here on a couple props here, Jimmy. I wanted to get on this. I bet this morning, and it's a guy who got nothing done last night. Even though some people do Duclair, I haven't bet that, and I wanted to wait till Point was in. Obviously, look at his props. I haven't got to those. But I bet here, second line, Jake DeBrusk, who was nowhere to be found last night. Nowhere. Nothing on the line. But before that, talk about the trade talks he was in. He ends up staying and was playing great hockey. And I think there's value here. After having no shots on goal, before that, he cashed this regular. I think he ripped off 7 of the last 8. And before that, he had 4 goals in the last 7. So I'm over his 2.5 shots on goal. It's plus 135 and a half a point at even money.
Sorry, can you hit me with those both again?
Shots on goal for DeBrusk. Shots on goal over 2.5 plus 135 and over a half point at even money.
And over a half point. When you see Jake's relationship with his dad Lou, it's so special. It makes you want to cheer for him immediately. Like it's so special. Louis did a great job raising some really good kids. Ski. I was writing into the chat. Our guy Ski Prophet. So thankful that I had the opportunity to start my career with you, Ski. Says, who is your favorite to win each conference? I think this is a pretty different thing going on right now than anything I've ever seen, and this is why the last 10 games and the who's going to meet up is so crucial, because we have right now 7 1 2 3 4 we have 7 teams within 3 points of each other at the top of the standings. I mean, it's just the parity is just unreal. And then below that, you have a Nashville team that's points in 18 straight games. You have an Edmonton Oilers team that could be the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. That's not even in that top group. You have the below them. You have last year's Stanley Cup champions, Vegas Golden Knights, who've turned it on in playoff mode. You have the Maple Leafs, who were to start the year the favorite to win the Stanley Cup, which was laugh out loud funny, but still they were the favorite in the marketplace. And the Kings, who I think can do real damage. And then you have there's so much parity right now. We kind of need to see things shape up a little bit through these things, because these games are going to be really important as well. Really,
and the matchups, like you mean, like where the seeding is going to be, and then those matchups in the early round.
Steve G says losing to Montreal shook my confidence a bit. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. There's going to be hiccups along the way, and shout out to Mikey Money, who had the Montreal Canadiens money line and +1.5 on last call. Steve G, those games happen once in a while. Don't be too concerned. Goalie gets hot, it's just one game. I would not be too concerned. Sammy Comer says thoughts on Tampa +2,500 for the Cup. It's I guess you could say that the number's right. But at this point, when we're dealing with Vasilevsky with an .897 save percentage through a full season, we've never seen that before. So can we just say he's going to flick the switch? Now, maybe he can, and maybe he did on that road trip, and maybe we'll see that again over these last 10 games. I don't think that's going to change at all, that number, even if they get hot here. I mean, it goes down to 18-1 at the worst possible thing, because at this point, who are the Lightning playing? If they play the Bruins in the first round, I'm taking them. But you might be able to make as much money betting the Lightning round by round and just carrying it over.
Yeah, you could put but the value is what kind of here. I think it's if you're taking like a shot with it, just because with that, it's not going to be easy. This team won back-to-back cups. You know how it is.
It's Vasilevsky. It's Vasilevsky over these 10
True.
games. And if they play the Panthers, do you want them in the first round? Maybe you do. Maybe you do to shock the world. I mean, that would scare me. But if they play the Bruins, I'll be on them. So what within the juice for DeBrusk?
DeBrusk, 2.5 shots on goal over +135, and over half a point at even money.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I think he bounces back. I had after just nothing. Like I said, he's been cashing this a ton lately. Here, Jimmy. So
I'm going to move on to Lightning.
Okay.
Polo this, polo that. By the way, great capper said it is great value on Tampa at 25-1. All right, Mikey Money, it is your time, my friend. It is your time. We're going to get into college basketball. They're going to be a 3-way shot, and excited to cap these games. So Mikey Money, join us. Amalie Mouse says, I wouldn't take the Knights. Their backup goalie's ass. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup with a backup goalie. 5 of them. Lightning. Sorry, Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup with 5 backups. So, what I do think is this is going to be the most enjoyable Stanley Cup playoffs that we've ever seen, and you're going to get enormous value on so many of these teams. So we'll be breaking them down more but Amalie Mouse says he played. Not Peterka. Says Amalie Mouse says terrible goaltending would have to get hot. I mean, their goaltending. Now they had Brossoit last year too, and Logan Thompson, Aiden Hill, and I mean it was unbelievable what they did and what they're doing, and even going up 3-0 and 4-1 on Nashville. Now they broke down late, but okay. So let's roll onto college basketball and bring on your next guest. He dropped the Habs at +360, +1.5, +150 on last call. We have him here to join C-Mac and I for the 4-game college basketball schedule. Please welcome, without further ado, a man who made PBA Palooza so much fun. Except seeing Jose sitting on Mike's lap in the live stream. That was
what?
Yeah, that was the low point. Jose was sitting on Mike's lap.
Jose was sitting on Mike's lap.
That was the.
Is there a video of that?
That's a good question.
God.
Mikey,
Come on.
It was
You
good.
gotta
He was
see it.
twerking and lap dancing on me. I mean, I was fine with it. I was like, you gotta get off my fucking
Ooh.
lap.
I don't know about that. That's the first I heard about that. You know where I saw that? I saw it the next day. on a stream. You know how we have a stream in the bar that's going all the time? I looked up and there was two of my close friends. Okay. Ty Jen says no Diddy. No Diddy. Yes, we will get a clip of that. We will get a clip. But Razor says, why would I? You do make a good point, Razor. You do make a good point. I think Razor was on this.
Yeah, I guess he's right. I just meant it's like blackmail. I can hold it. I'd like to maybe click that to play to Mike when he's
Yeah.
For blackmail.
Just make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button on it. You know how important that is.
Hit the thumbs up.
Well, Mikey, what a call on the Habs last night, man.
Listen, when your buddy tells you, he sends you a text and he says, "Look, I know it's plus 360, but you got to take it. Let's go, man." That was a huge call, and
nice.
It was a great night all around. So it was pleasant evening there. And shout out to Billy Briz because he mopped it up out there on the hardwood as well. So it was a monster day with last call yesterday.
The Habs too. Game before that was easy. He just jumped on the Kraken. I was on them. So get some good prices with the Habs.
That was the low moment of the trip for me.
You were on the other side. You were on the Kraken.
It was so awful. All right,
if I was there, I would have been like, no, Jay.
Oh God. All right, let's get to work. Kelsey, welcome to the show. Says class is in session. Isn't that great to have you? Kelsey coming off a 3-0 day yesterday. Also ran with the Habs plus 1.5 at plus 150. Let's get to work here. We have a perfect game for our afternoons. We have the CBI Championship. The High Point Panthers 27-8 versus the Seattle U Redhawks 22-14. We're in Ocean Center in Dayton Beach, Florida. Let's get into the line history here. Do I need to move this over? No, I got it here. Good. Okay. So we have High Point. So we've already heard from cappers in the chat on either side. We're going to go to Bet Online again. They are first to the market, and we have the link on our website. If you're looking for a new account, that gives you $1,000 or 100% bonus up to $1,000, and it doesn't have to be Bitcoin. Those of you up here in the north can email transfer, get paid out in email transfer. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice situation. So at Bet Online, this opened up with Seattle at +1. Seattle gets up to -2 at 1 this morning. They're now sitting at 1.5, but that's a legitimate, dog to favorite situation. Let's just see what it's doing over at Pinnacle. If Pinnacle waited longer and opened it at a minus, and they did at Pinnacle, and this is so important when you're tracking low lines. This tells you two different stories. It tells you that Bet Online, with limits in place, so you couldn't put 10K on it, had Seattle as a 1-point dog. That was they felt the incorrect line and moved it. Pinnacle waited till 8:08 this morning, opened at -1.5. It's moved 2 cents. So is there value at this number? That's a decision that we have to make here. From the total standpoint here, we have it sitting at Pinnacle at 149.5. This opened up at 151. Over at Bet Online, this is still. It's moved. Wow, it's still at 151. Wow. So we've already heard from Coin and Razor Sharp picks about the under on this one. Pinnacle is moving briskly towards that number. From a cash flow standpoint here, sorry, got NBA up here. I was focused on it. We have 72% of the tickets on Seattle. We don't know what the money line holds for. We don't have money on any of these games. Percentage of the money on the total. Do we have any on the spread? God, such trash. Nope. 95% of the tickets are on the over, and we see this dropping briskly. Let me set a quick table. We'll start with Mikey Money, then we'll go to Conor Mac, and we'll flip it each time. So High Point was the Big South Conference regular season champs. They lost to the Longwood Lancers 80-79 in overtime in the semis of the conference tournament. Remember, Longwood was just 7-10 in the conference, and they became the eventual champion. After 16 days off, and there's our guy Sean Higgs in the house. There's a buck for each like, and we be pub and crew. Sean Higgs, wasn't it great having Higgsy down with us? Man, what a class act and talented capper and a great friend. Thankful to have you in my life, Higgsy. So after 16 days off, it's a long time off. They defeated Cleveland State easily in the quarters on Monday. That was the early game. It's 4.5-point favorites, 93-74. They shot 53.8% from the field. Then last night, they beat Arkansas State as 1.5-point favorites, 81-80. They again shot well, 48.4% from the field. Seattle came in 4th in the Western Athletic Conference, going 11-9 in the regular season. They lost in that WAC final, 80-72 to Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon pulled away in the last minute. They played 3 games to get here and won each by double digits. They haven't been tested. They beat Delaware State 79-66 on Saturday as 11.5-point favorites. Then they followed that up by beating Evansville 71-57 in the quarters on Monday as 8.5-point favorites. Then they destroyed Fairfield 75-58 last night as 6.5-point favorites. So you have a team that hasn't been tested against a team that was really tested by Arkansas State last night. We're not going to have the cash flow to direct us. Take it away, Mikey Money, 5 p.m. Eastern, the CBI Championship, High Point, Seattle U.
Look, C-Mac and I have been talking about this Seattle team, it feels like, for at least a month now, C-Mac. And, for right reason here. You had the WAC in the conference there. Grand Canyon, clearly the class, and then there's everybody else. But for Seattle to get as far as they did, getting to the big, the last spot there in the tournament was huge. Big opportunity. Nobody expected them to go out there and win. But Grand Canyon, mopped it up and got the job done, and they advanced a little bit too. Grand Canyon gave some fits across the NCAA tournament, so no love lost there for not getting to win that WAC championship. Although I'm sure they wanted to go dancing. Here's a team that came out ready to go for this tournament. The motivation was there. Not one of those situations where you're like, how much do they want this or not? And they've gone. You mentioned it. They're smoking everybody. On the other side of things, though, I look at this High Point team and I just wonder how much more can they go out there. Their offense is going out with an 84.4 point a game, average. They're out there smoking teams on the offensive side of the ball. But the challenge is that, they're relying a little bit more heavily in this postseason on the three. They're 37.4 overall from the 3-point opportunity from beyond the arc. And I think that's going to be trouble for this Seattle team. Love the looks on the under here. The Seattle defense is shutting teams down. Their offense continues to cook. The challenge I would have on the total is if it does get a situation where, that High Point comes out there splashing everybody, this is going to get sloppy from a total perspective. I was on that under yesterday. It was a comfortable spot in that Seattle game. I don't like what I saw out of that High Point team. When I start talking about fatigue yesterday, they were down in that first half, 46-39. It took a monster second half. And I feel like at some point you can only kind of reset or recharge so frequently before you start running low on that juice opportunity. And I think this is where the fatigue comes in. What I like about the Seattle team, though, is they've been dominant from start to finish. They've won 10 of 11 first halves this season against non-conference opponents. I double dipped it yesterday, and I don't see any reason not to go out there again today, especially with the low number. This is for the big bang, the big buck here, and I think this is a great opportunity. We're getting a low price on a team that I expected to win this conference from the hop to begin with here, and again, no reason for me to step back on it. I do like what High Point does from the free throw spot. I know that can certainly get tight, but we're not looking at a 7 or a 7.5 to try to come out there and get the backdoor cover. We need these boys to go out wire to wire. Seattle certainly is more than capable of doing it. And there's no reason for me not to double dip this thing here. The first half, right now I'm looking at some money lines. I got a -115 for the first half. And the full game is at a -111 over there on FanDuel. Just get me the win, Seattle, double dipper. Let's get this thing cashing. Nice little afternoon action before last call.
Wow. A very, very interesting breakdown. I can't wait to hear C-Mac's Mikey double dipping on Seattle. Take it away, C-Mac.
Yeah, Seattle here. This should be a really good matchup. Obviously, the better defense. And they're, in some of these categories, top 40 in the country is Seattle. And it showed even yesterday against Fairfield. We talked about another good offense, maybe not as high as High Point here, but very much up there. When I was looking at this game to attack it, I was looking first half as well. The biggest key here for me, I like it because they've been scoring at a crazy rate, like you mentioned, Mike. And I get it. These tournament games, they kind of do. These lower tournaments like this. Now we have the championship game here. I got to think there's some nerves early on. One thing with High Point full game, the total, which is a little dicey for me, best free throw team in the country. They make 19, number one in the country, and they shoot 25 a game, almost 25. That could get late. The whole late free throw drives me nuts, or OT. So I've been looking at the under first half. I've been looking at it all morning. It's at 71.5. Obviously, the hot shooting can bury me here, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. But that's what I'm looking at is the under in this game. I talked about yesterday, Tyson, and he bounced back. He had a big game for Seattle. He's their best player or point guard. He has to have another big one in this one. But on the side, I think this is kind of a coin flip. I didn't want to mess around with it.
So a couple questions for you guys before we move on. First off, you want the first half under 71.5, just in case High Point's leading, Seattle fouls down the stretch, and High Point hits every single foul shot, or because at a 1-point spread, this game has the possibility of overtime?
Both.
Both.
Kind of both. Like if they have the lead or if it's tight, you get OT. You know what I mean? Just kind of either scenario there, Jim.
And then for Mikey, the question really comes from North Ender. He said, so a team that beat the piss out of everyone's -1.5 and open +1. And he says, right, Mike, ain't that a little fishy? Only got to win. Can you answer that?
Yeah, I mean, look, they want you to come in there and think that with this High Point team, right? They want to look at the records. Just look on the record in the surface, 25-8 out there. Seattle, they're certainly with 14 losses. You only have to lay a point to start this game off to take the better team in High Point, but we've been watching these whack games, and that's not the case. If you look at that conference for High Point, Asheville, Longwood. Then there's everybody else: Winthrop, Gardner-Webb, Radford, Presbyterian, USC Upstate, and Charleston Southern. Then you look on the other side of things. Who the hell has Seattle played? Well, let's look at this conference for Seattle. They got Grand Canyon. They had UT Arlington, Stephen F. Austin. Not devoid of talent there. There's a lot of opportunity in that conference and battle hardened. So, yeah, they took some losses, but let's not forget that Seattle team gave Grand Canyon one of their 4 losses in the regular season as well. They're more than capable to show up and show out for this game here. And I think on the surface, they want you to look at this thing, and that's why they open it up as a +1. They want everybody that opens this line up to say, I only have to lay 1 for the better team. Look at this record. Then as they started to regulate things and get cash in there, I think it quickly became aware that Seattle's the better team when you start to sift past the original look with these numbers. And that's why I think we've seen them move in the direction it has. It's correlated with the way I expect this game to go. And again, it's not just the number itself, but look how they started that last game against the suspect Arkansas State team. And, they hung on for the win, but I wouldn't feel great about that if I was those boys moving into this thing. It's only so many times that, you can get close before it finally bites you in the ass. And I think that's going to be, a Seattle team that's aggressive here. So I think the original number opened up the way it did to head fake everybody out there. And it sounds like they got our guy North Ender. So shout out to you, North Ender. I hope you
No, he's not. I don't think he's moved on it yet. He's just trying to gather information here. He means High Point.
The thing, which is always what you last saw too, right? Here, Seattle playing kind of lower competition, 3 blowouts. As big favorites, were they 7 or 8 in most of those 3 games against Delaware State, Evansville, Fairfield. High Point plays a tight game, last night to the wire, 1-point game. So, I think people always look at that, just from last night on today's action.
That was great stuff from both you guys. So we have CMAC with the lean first half under 71.5. And I don't usually write down leans. I am here because I'm very interested in betting it. And then I was going to let this sort of coin flippy game. That was my thought going in, but that final soliloquy, that final monologue from our Mikey Money was captivating. Okay, let's roll on to the next spot on the board here, and that is the CIT Championship, 7 p.m. Eastern. The Purdue-Fort Wayne Mastodons, 23-12, 10-7 on the road. At the Norfolk State Spartans, 23-11, undefeated at home. 14-0 is Norfolk State. We're in Norfolk, Virginia for this one. Let's get into the line history here. And Jennifer Luch, I think it's Luch, how to pronounce that, but I'd love to hear phonetically so I'm not butchering the name. Says, anyone like Purdue Fort Wayne tonight? I think it's hard. There's DC Capper also on the internet. I think it's hard. It's hard not to like the toughness of Purdue Fort Wayne, and it's hard to not be enamored with the 14-0 record of Norfolk State. Let's get into the line history. I've still got first half up here. My bad. So let me move over to full game here. We have Norfolk State right now at Pinnacle at +1.5. They opened up at just at 10:05 in the morning yesterday at +1.5. So this got up to +1.5 at -116. It's at 113. So we've had a 5-cent move to Norfolk State. Pretty wild to think of this team as 14-0, and you're getting this slight move towards them. From a total 14-0 at home. From a total standpoint, BetOnline has this at 145.5 at -110. That's exactly where it opened yesterday at 9:22 a.m. They haven't moved it a cent. We get into the cash flow. You have 71% of the tickets on IPFW. 71% of tickets. You have no help on the total and no help on the money line. Let's get into a quick setup, and CMAC will be going first here on this one. These two teams have had very, very different routes to the final. PFW finished 7th overall and at 11-9 in a very tightly bunched Horizon League. They beat Robert Morris 78-63 in the first round of the conference tournament before losing to eventual champion Oakland 75-65 in the quarterfinals. So then they have 13 days off. They open the CIT with an impressive 77-75 win at Bowling Green. Before, they head to Texas and beat Tarleton 73-72 on Monday in the semis as 5.5-point dogs. They go to Ohio, then they go to Texas. They win by a combined 3 points. And now they face Norfolk State, who's undefeated at home this season. I mean, this is a pretty exciting story that's being written by these guys. Norfolk State was given the number 1 seed in this tournament. So they were given a bye straight to the semifinals. They won the MEAC. They won the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference regular season title going 11-3. They beat Coppin State badly, 75-51 to open the conference tournament. Then they were upset by Howard, 80-74 in the MEAC semis. We talked about that game. I talked about that game at PBA Palooza. I mean, that's a game that's on my mind that I want to find similar situations. They opened up as a pick'em, despite beating Howard twice in the regular season by 16 and 17. The line moved to -4 on them. 97% of the cash was on them. And, clearly we talked about Howard being the play there. So with that number 1 seed, the direct route to the semis, they defeated Alabama A&M easily, 81-66 on Saturday's 9.5-point favorites. So here we go. Take it away for us, CMAC, the CIT Championship game at Joseph G. Eccles Hall in Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah, both these teams were good all year. And I was actually, I couldn't remember last time I had more than maybe 1 or 2 bets on Purdue Fort Wayne this year. But I had them a few times, and they came through, and they were good against the number all year. I think they were 20-12, 20-13. You talked about the last couple wins, close, gritty wins, Bowling Green by 2 and Tarleton. They're the better scoring team. They're the better team that could shoot it, and they can get hot from 3 at times. Their field goal percentage is very good as well. But I like Norfolk here a little bit. Small dog, just +1.5. I would just roll with the money line. I want the defense in this matchup. I just think they could get it done. Purdue, Fort Wayne, both these teams are horrible rebounding. 331, 334. So that kind of cancels out because I was trying to find some mismatches in that. Turnovers, Purdue, Fort Wayne, a little bit better, 79 there. Norfolk was right around 211. So not crazy. But when it comes down to a game like this, I want the team that can get stops a little bit. And I was leaning heavy here to Norfolk State.
So I have my question ready for you, and I'm just going to ask it now. So they played 1 game in the last 12 days.
Yeah.
Does that concern you?
Yes.
Against a team that's traveled and battle tested, but it doesn't concern you enough to move. Is the 14-0 home record, they're going to finish the year undefeated at home, is that too much of a selling point for a rested squad in your estimation?
It is for me to move, to put my money on it. Yeah, for sure. But that regard we'll get to yesterday, I was all over Georgia. We talked about first half. They had the money line too. I talked about how good they've been early on in games. And they were great yesterday. Won that first half +220 as well. But yeah, that's always just the concern. The time off, you like a team that's been playing well, and they don't mind, going on the road, doing whatever they have to do. They're just playing good basketball, having games.
Wow. These are 2 fascinating games that are so much fun to talk about. Mikey Money. So at this point, CMAC, is this a move official pick on? Yeah?
No, I haven't moved on it.
Okay.
No.
Take it away, Mikey Money. Mastodon, Spartans. Will Norfolk State go 15-0 at home this year?
I'm a CMAC. I haven't bet on IPFW much at all this season, if at all this season. It's kind of interesting how those guys were able to fly under the radar. But I look at a lot of how these conferences perform when it comes, especially now, like these 2 teams that rarely play each other, and what are you going to kind of see as far as how it figures itself out in the long run here? And I know a lot of people like this home court advantage for Norfolk State. I'm not going to dismiss it. I mean, they're undefeated at home. That's certainly a lot to talk about, but that MEAC conference was in their backyard. They rolled over and puked their nuts up against that Howard team. So, for me, I'm not fully enamored and sold on that spot. Now, to North Ender's point about the fishy line to me here, you got this home court team. I saw some comments in the chat about that, and the line's opening up the way it is here. Like that to me seems a little suspect. Like, of course, let's go in there and take this Norfolk team, getting that 1.5 at home. As far as these defenses are concerned, a couple things I look at. First of all, the home team against IPFW teams have won the last 4 of the 5 games out there. So first halves against IPFW, the home team has gone 4 of 5. And when you look at Norfolk State, they're continuing to win home first half opportunity. I'm still struggling to talk from a weekend full of cocktails here. First halves, 7 straight spots out there for Norfolk State when they're at home as well. So big opportunities for Norfolk, I think, to start the game off. But I believe it's that second half that's going to differentiate it. When you start looking at how these teams play, IPFW's road games, you talked about them kind of being battle tested on the road. When they're playing non-con opponents have gone under 145 points. I think there's no coincidence that you look at their defense, and when it comes to the capability out there, both these teams are very, very closely skewed, I think, or matched in terms of the numbers. But it's the heart points that you can't factor in there. The steals, the guys that don't just put their hands down and show bad body language and walk away because it didn't go their way. This team ranks 10th amongst Division I teams when it comes to the steals per game, averaging 9.3. I think there's a reason that they're seeing these games go under, and I think it has to do with the way the IPFW squad goes out there and rolls defense. Now, you talked about kind of the conference and, again, the teams that they play out there. Look what's happened to these teams in various other, Delaware State got smoked out there in the game we just talked about, had just barely put up any points out there. And so as much as that pads your record and you're looking good and you're playing, dog shit teams, that doesn't necessarily make you a competitor. And on the other side of things, when I look at this IPFW team, again, we got teams like Oakland making moves in the dance out there. We got, opportunities against Tarleton, which, again, we talked about playing in Grand Canyon. I think the scheduling shows to me IPFW is the better team here. And, when it comes down to the rankings and the ability for the steals and the effort and the heart points out there, I go with IPFW as well. So this will be my first play of the season, I believe, on this IPFW side. And I see that the money line's sitting there at -118. So that seems like a good spot for me to get involved with. -118 on FanDuel, unless you can beat that there. I don't want to mess with the first half. I don't want to mess with the totals. But I'm just not so. It's not enough for me to see these guys are in their own backyard and that's in their own home court. That's going to be the reason they go out there and win this game. Shit happens. And, they'll be sitting there scratching their head in the locker room after the game going, but we were undefeated at home. It's not fair. And I think IPFW finds a way to get this job done. So give me the Mastodons, baby. Let's go.
I'm very, very interested in backing them. One question for you, Mikey. They beat, so they go to Ohio on the 20th. Then they get the break before flying to Texas on the 25th. Then they have to fly to Virginia yesterday. Is there any concern, or it's okay because of the break in between that first flight? Is there any concern of tired legs in the second half?
I mean, that's always the concern when you've got these guys that are traveling. But I think at the end of the day, would I like them see them have, a little bit less time on the road? Sure. But these guys are winning. I don't think they're intelligent enough to realize that they're not winning the big tournament. They're just out there going in, and they're trying to get a championship, though. And this is that opportunity for them to go out there and show the Oaklands and Youngtown States, hey, we're still alive. We are the best team out here. And young guys reset fast. So I think it's a good opportunity for IPFW, regardless of the travel. I think when you're on the road, you're in the playoffs, you're having fun winning games, you gel together, and that excitement, all that high-fiving, all the shenanigans that go on in the hotel rooms after the games, all that does is bring this team closer together. And I think it's a great opportunity for these guys to go out there and finish it off. Granted, Norfolk State, what I think the opportunity is missed here for Norfolk State is being on the road. Being at home, these guys go home. They've got their own kind of commotion. They've got their own friends. They've got their own social networks. They're not bonding and gelling together the same way that a team would do on the road in the tournament, like a team that's traveled in IPFW. So give me IPFW. I think it's a great opportunity. I know the situation with the road, but I still think that there's too many other, intangibles that go into teams being on the road in the postseason that makes them have a little bit more excitement. If they can neutralize that first half opportunity with Norfolk State, I think they cruise control that second half and get the W.
That was fantastic. Great job, you guys. We're going to head into NIT now, but I'll tell you my plan is to take CMAX first half under, lean, and get to the window with it. And then I'm going to be with IPFW here. I wish we could look at the cash flow. We may not be able to, but I think it would harken back to the Howard game. So, and then Mike says you're always sore after the first day after a break. I mean, that's Norfolk State. That's not, IPFW. PFW had the 5-day break, and so they played on the 20th, 25th, 27th. The problem is that they had to play on the road all 3 of those games. All right, let's roll on to the NIT here. We have 7 p.m. Eastern, the NIT quarterfinal, the UNLV Rebels, 21-12, 8-3 on the road at the Seton Hall Pirates, 22-12, 16-4 at home. But this is a different home here, and that's an important talking point to get started. We're in Walsh Gymnasium in South Orange, New Jersey. They're not playing at the Prudential Center. 83-year-old Walsh Gymnasium, capacity of 1,326. That's where the women's team plays. When you go back to, who were the stars that played in this arena or this barn, I don't know what you want to call it. They won't tell you about the Seton Hall stars because there weren't many of them back then, unfortunately. And maybe I'll take some heat for that, but they'll talk about Chris Mullen, they'll talk about Patrick Ewing. Those guys played, but they weren't Seton Hall Pirates. Seton Hall finished the season in 4th place in the Big East. Now, and also they've been playing in Walsh Gymnasium, in this tournament. So it's not like this is their first game in Walsh Gymnasium. Seton Hall finished the season in 4th place in the Big East, going 13-7 in the regular season. Before I get into all of this, I'd like to have the line history in my head here. So let's go there. UNLV, Seton Hall. This total is at 141. I just moved to 142, moved to 142 12 minutes ago. That's a 2-point move to the over at BetOnline. That is a big move to the over. Opened at 140.5, got up to 141.5, then started dropping. A 2-point move. So at 7:19 a.m., this was 141. At 11:50 a.m., and these are all Eastern times, 140, and then a 2-point move to the over 12 minutes ago. Let's get into the points spread here for this one from a spread perspective. Pinnacle hanging a 6, and let's get over to BetOnline. BetOnline hanging a 5.5, but juiced to -118, so it's like a 6. This is opened up at -4, and the first move was towards UNLV, went to 3. Then it started moving back towards Seton Hall. It's at -5.5. I almost bet Seton Hall -4, and I was like, no, let's talk it out. And okay, it is what it is. I'm not going to be filled with rage. Let's see what we're talking line history wise, cash wise. 63% of the tickets are on Seton Hall. 72% of tickets are on the under. So it's a pretty interesting move to the over. And again, we have no cash flow for this spot. Morgan Spooner says, love Seton Hall here. Team that absolutely deserves to be in the big dance with a coach who has multiple press looks in his back pocket and the best player, Richmond, healthy and playing. Mike also on Seton Hall. And we have Coin leaning, says points here with the over 141.5. So as I said, Seton Hall finished the season in 4th place in the Big East, going 13-7 in the regular season. They got knocked out of the Big East tournament in the quarters, falling to St. John's 91-72 as 3.5-point dogs. It was obviously that loss, that kept them out of the dance. I mean, you can't. It's tough to lose by 19 in the quarters when you're on the bubble. I mean, you don't get invited. But if that had been a different story in that game, they would be there. They began this tournament 6 days ago. 6 days after getting knocked out, I should say, with a tight 75-72 overtime victory at home over St. Joe's. In that one, Alamir Dawes had a career-high 26. Then on Saturday, they defeat North Texas in the second round, 72-58. It's 4.5-point favorites. In that one, Dre Davis went for 18. UNLV finished 12-6 in the Mountain West regular season. That was 4th in the conference. They lost 74-71 in overtime to eventual champion San Diego State in the quarters of the conference tournament. That was a really impressive showing. And then all they've done is impressed further. Listen to how impressive they've been. And you guys probably know from capping with me for a long time that when I start talking about how impressive a team has been, I want to fade them. It's just, I don't know, it's a sickness. They begin this tournament with an 84-77 win at Princeton as 3.5 dogs. They shoot 60.8% from the field and 47.1% from 3 in the victory. So They play spectacular against San Diego State. And I want to say spectacular. I mean, you would say maybe it's a spectacular. They should have won, but that was a tough San Diego State team. It took them to overtime. Then they shoot 60.8 from the field, 47.1 from three. Then they follow that up with a 79 victory at home over Boston College on Sunday. 3.5-point favorites. Now, they didn't shoot quite as well, 49.2 from the field and 47.1 from three, but they only turned the ball over one time. One time. The Boone twins combined for 35 and 14. Then they have to travel all the way across the country to face Seton Hall. Coin says UNLV went to Princeton and back to the desert, now back east again. Morgan Smith says Big East is a much tougher conference to have to deal with through the course of a season. The game on the West Coast may be different. Have I waited too long to move on Seton Hall? Because I could have got the -4, but I wanted to talk it out. And I thought we'd have market information, which we don't. Mikey Money, it's your team to get started, or your turn to get started. Take it away. Rebels, Pirates in South Orange, New Jersey.
I mean, talk about conferences. I'm a big fan of that Big East. I'm a big believer in what they're doing out there. I think that's a basketball school. That's a basketball conference, and kind of be damned with everything else. But then you look at the other side of this thing with the UNLV team, and they ball. Look what they've done. Look at the teams that they've played there. Boston College was a team that had everybody on lookout alert there in the ACC, and they handled them comfortably. And yeah, travel aside, as much as I know that's a relevant factor. Young guys, as I mentioned in the previous games, UNLV goes on. They beat Princeton. They handled them 84-77. And then you look on the other side of things. Seton Hall with that St. Joe's matchup was a difficult spot. I have a sneaky suspicion that North Texas wears a team down because of the way they play defense. And so when you kind of come off a spot like that, I think there's a little bit of mental fatigue that factors in to trying to reset and recalibrate for a different style of offense. And then when you look at the X's and O's and the way the paper matches up, these two teams are very comparably matched in the way that they perform. UNLV shoots 45.8% from the field. Seton Hall, 44.8%. From the free throws, 72.4. There is a slight edge for Seton Hall at 77.3, but UNLV's defense kind of limits opportunities for those free throw capabilities out there. And they're both pretty comparable when it comes to the three as well, 33.3 to 32.7. Where I'm going with this is that it feels a lot like that Indiana State spot yesterday where the line started at 3, moved itself all the way up to 6, and I think finally came back to maybe like a 5.5 or a 6. And 4 points was the final number. I think at this point, with the Seton Hall number and the way the lines moved, you got to take the points in your back pocket, recognizing here in my suspicion and estimation that North Texas game beat this team up mentally and maybe not as much physically with some rest and reset there. They certainly have a great home court advantage as well, but I just feel at this point the 6.5 is too many points here. And that's the side I want to go to. Now I can certainly appreciate everybody talking about the over and seeing points as well, but you got to play some defense at this point in the game. And I think that this number is getting a little too high as well. I kind of thought this thing would end around 134, 135. We're seeing 142.5, and it continues to roll on up. To me is perplexing. But hey, maybe it's because they do go out there and they get hot from the 3. Either way, I think there's going to be too many points, and I want the UNLV side here with the 6.5. I think there might even be a live upset opportunity out there with these guys. Why not? Their conference entirely played like shit in the postseason and let me down. Maybe I'm chapped about New Mexico and Colorado State and what they did recently, but man, look at these teams in that conference: Utah State, New Mexico, Colorado State, San Diego State, Boise State. Then there's UNLV kind of parked in the middle of the pack, and yet they're still playing ball out there here. So I'm going to take a shot with the money line. I'm going to take an opportunity with that plus. I think let me see what I can get here on this money line. Crazy as it may sound here, I think this is just too many points. The 6.5 in the back pocket and the opportunity to go big at plus 210 on FanDuel and DraftKings right now.
Wow. Well, that throws me for a goddamn loop. UNLV money line plus 210. I'll try to find better. And then you also want you found the 6.5 out there?
Yeah, 6.5. Couple of spots there. DK, BetMGM, minus 112 at DK right now for the plus 6.5.
Wow.
Look, if they lose this thing by 2 points and I get the 6.5 and I don't get the money line, fuck it, I missed a big score. But at the end of the day, I think there's an opportunity to turn 2 units into 3 units with this game, and I'm going to take the shot at it.
Razor Sharp Pick, shout out, my man. Thank you for rocking with us, my guy. Get that cash. That throws me for a goddamn loop. Throws me for a loop. Okay, let me ask you this: 1 turnover at home, continuing this spectacular play. How many turnovers tonight?
Man, I'll tell you. What day is it here? Wednesday? It's Wednesday in fucking North Jersey, and I mean, is this place going to be rocking and raucous? I don't know. Maybe. I guess I could see that being the case, but just not as sold on the home court for these guys as
It'll be sold out.
Yeah, it'll be sold out, but I just don't know what kind of crowd we're going to see. Is it going to be students out there pumping, guys with their fucking shirts off and a big S painted on their chest like Superman, or is it going to be more, some of the elites there, some bigger money, some corporate gigs out there that got some big games because there's a conference championship in town. So I question that side of it when it comes to the who's making up the chemistry of the crowd out there. And yeah, it's going to be loud. There's no question about it for Seton Hall, but I think we see a conservative game plan just based off of what we saw from that North Texas game here. I would say that there's going to be turnovers. Of course, that's the nature of these games, but you're going to want to try to, when you play a team like North Texas that goes out there and puts up 45 and 50 points a game, you're trying to kind of drain the clock out. You make the best use of your shots out there, not make any stupid plays that are going to lead to fast break points. And to me, I think they control the ball. Seton Hall does, but I think UNLV is just going to find a way to pull it ahead. So, we'll see some turnovers, I'm sure, but I just don't know about that home court. And again, coming off that style of game you have to play against North Texas, I think there's transferables here that give me the UNLV confidence.
That throws me for a loop. Conor Mac, UNLV Rebels, Seton Hall Pirates.
When you initially saw I think there was a little bit of value with the 3.5.
Right.
With Seton Hall at home. This team's been great at home, and this is where you want to back them. Is here. I mean, they're 16-3. Someone mentioned in the chat, common opponent Creighton. You got to look at it. That's in conference. UNLV caught them a horrible shooting night for Creighton, too. Desperate need. That was when UNLV wasn't playing good basketball when they won that one early on in the year. And the Boone brothers being back. UNLV has gotten pounded on the boards. They haven't been very good. But those stats are a little bit weird. They were out, with both of them in is huge. And you guys mentioned Thomas, the point guard, the young freshman. The kid's really becoming something. He averaged 17. He could be a big X factor in this one. He was great in those San Diego State games, the one they won and then lost in OT in the conference tournament. I hate the travel. I want UNLV. I've been on about both games, Mike. We were on in Princeton money line. Then I was on them laying the short number at home. Versus Boston College. They've been great on the road. That's another reason. I hate the Travel East going there because they've been road warriors. This team's been great all year. 8-3. They've been tough as nails. And now, you just get to 6.5. It's got me interested. UNLV could maybe hang, but Seton Hall's just been so great at home. And what do we get from the total in NIT? It's a little weird because both these defenses are pretty good. I mean, there's certain stats where they're not great, like the 3 for Seton Hall. It's 306, but UNLV doesn't shoot the 3. Great. It's just a tough one here for me with the total going this way and now getting this high. UNLV's been a cash cow too, as this dog on the road, man. So I haven't bet it. I'm just going to wait on this one.
Marcus McCarthy. I didn't watch that Montreal Canadian games last night. Who won that one? I missed it.
Well, don't worry. Kelsey watched it for you.
He doesn't watch games. What the fuck you think I'm doing over here? Watching fucking anime and bullshit? Come on, get out of here. I have fucking 16 TVs rolling at any given time with fucking games all over the place. No, I'm not watching any of them. There's a fucking great movie on Netflix. Let's just sit around and chill.
I've not watched a movie that's fiction in 7 or 8 years. Let's move on. You've got me off of Seton Hall at this point, Mike. I think if there was major buyback now, I'd be probably nervous. Troy Torrance says I put a shit ton of weight into the travel situation and the market's moving. Yeah, I want Seton Hall. I could have got them at 4, and now I'm so it's going to be a little bit more time. Let's roll on. I mean, Marcus McCarthy. It is different at Walsh than it is at Prudential. But I know that Walsh
Marcus McCarthy, when you become a fucking adult in the working world, what they do is these corporate sponsors come in and they buy big blocks of tickets so they can give them to their clients because it's a big game. So you got a lot of guys in suits in the stands because they're big games, not some random asshole that drank a fucking 12-pack of beer 10 minutes before he left for the game and painted a big S on his chest. That's the big difference when you get to these big games out there. Check it out. Watch some games.
We roll on 9 p.m. Eastern. We have the NIT quarters. The VCU Rams 24-13, 7-4 on the road at the Utah Utes 21-14, 16-2 at home. 16-2 at home. Pretty easy to do the math with the Utah Utes going 5-12 when they're not playing at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Let's get into the line history here for this one. This is our last game of college basketball. Then Dutch Boy Fresh joining us for a 12-game NBA card. We have Utah as a big favorite here. I'll start with Pinnacle. Be curious to see what they've done with it. They opened Utah up at -6. They're now -7.5. That 7.5 is juiced to -115. We see a lot of 8s on the board. Bet Online, they have it juiced -115 as well. They opened it at -6 as well. When it opened up -6, this was 2 days ago. This was on the 25th, 10:57 a.m. It took 10 minutes for it to get to 7. Then it actually came back to 6.5 for a while, but we're sitting at 7.5 right now for these Utah Utes. Take a look at the total in this one, sitting at 145.5, opened up at 145. So it's back to 145. Back to 145. So it's right there where it is, where it opened, excuse me. And then from a cash flow standpoint here, again, unfortunately, we're not going to get any cash flow, but for the tickets, 53% of the tickets are on VCU. 72% of the tickets are on the under, and that is the situation here. So VCU finished 11-7 in the A10. That was good for 4th place in the regular season. They lost 57-51 in the AT Conference Tournament Finals to Duquesne as 1.5-point favorites. It was a tough loss on them. They began the NIT in very impressive fashion. They won at Villanova 70-61 as 8.5-point dogs. Then they traveled to South Florida. They beat them 70-65 as 3.5-point dogs. Now they travel to Salt Lake City to take on the Utes. Finished 9-11 in the Pac-12. Good for 6th place. They lost to Colorado, 72-58 in the quarters as 4.5-point dogs. They began this tournament with an 84-75 win over UC Irvine at home as 7.5-point favorites. Followed that up with a 91-82 home win on Sunday over Iowa's 5.5-point favorites. Sitting at home, winning basketball games. Do they do that here over this huge number? Take it away, CMAC. We've seen this VCU Rams team play with a lot of heart all season long. Does their season end here in Salt Lake City? And also, can they stay within the number? Take it away, CMAC, Rams, Utes, and NIT quarters.
Yeah, when you look at Utah, another team, we're for the most part, when we bet this for years now, whether it's football or basketball, Utah at home is really good, 16-2. And really that shitty loss with Arizona, and they kind of followed it up with another loss to Arizona State. Those were the only 2 losses. I'm sure you guys remember that loss with Arizona, the overtime, because those losses stick with me. And I was on it. And Utah here, easy wins, at home where they take care of business against Irvine and Iowa. Both those teams, though, they don't play defense. This VCU team can play some defense. And I like them here in this spot. One thing, laying a number with Utah is just they're so good at home. Freewheeling here, but they shoot 65% from the free throw line. I don't want that. I've just been impressed. I took a piece of them with their first win. What was that? Villanova. But I stayed off with South Florida. Man, I think this game's closer too. I know Utah, you don't want to take an under, but I was looking at this under a lot in this game because I think VCU was going to want to slow this down. And they have some good shooters that haven't been shooting it well in these last few games that they've won. 22-14 against the number. And another team I talked about, UNLV, even though, at elevation on the road, this VCU team was great on the road. They just were. They were a good road team, 7-4. I want to see that. I want to see teams go on the road all year, neutral places or on the road, true road games, and win. And they did that. So I love it. The 8 points, give it to me at VCU. I got to take it here. It's just too many.
Just too many points here. They played with so much heart. Mikey Money, take it away. Our final spot on the board, the NIT quarters.
So it's so hard. I've got to kind of tune everything out when I start to look at a game to come up with the way I think it's going to play out on my own, because inevitably, if I hear somebody talking about it, then my subconscious, you always talk about the subconscious playing tricks on you and how that kind of works out. And all I can hear is Billy Briz. Shout out to Billy Briz. The last 3 weeks, all I can hear him saying is the Utes are on fire here. And I don't disagree with that, but you're right. And I totally agree with what CMAC has to say about this being too many points.
Those other spots were good though. The Utes were on fire. They're solid, I think. Versus
and at home, clearly, right? We're looking at the numbers that they put up, 91-82. Let me read some stats for the boys in the chat. 91-82 for Iowa, UC Irvine, 84-75. They're out there scoring, but I just wonder in this case now, obviously too many points, I believe, is the case. I'm fully on board with that VCU side of things. What I like about this Rams team is new coach, new turnover. I kind of used that against him earlier in the season because, when I was looking back at kind of what was happening with the squad as a whole, I thought, well, you lose some players, transition, NIL, new coach coming in. Then I look at where the coach came from with Utah State, though, and I'm like, man, that team was left in a pretty good position. So he didn't just check out and say, fuck you. He ended up, finishing off, kept some guys there, trying to do it the right way to move up. And I respect that. When I look at these A-10 spots, I just don't think at the end of the day, VCU rolls over and dies. I think they play some defensive ball. The A-10 has been known when it comes to road and travels and postseason play to get their unders out there because they do D up and they find a way to get teams kind of off their mark and get funky with it. So I like the low scoring in this spot. Then you look at kind of VCU and what they've been able to do on the road specifically. 8 of 11 road games have gone under the number. They got 6 of them under in a row right now. USF's a high scoring team that they were able to get the W and keep that thing under. We know Villanova shoots a shitload of threes. Best free throw team in the country. They were able to keep that game under. They play that Duquesne team that obviously had some big upsets in the postseason. That game stayed under, and I think that's going to see a little bit more of that transition here as well. I just don't think it's a go out there and score. I love the home court advantage for the Utes and the elevation, all that other stuff that goes in. For me, this is an under spot. We see the cash coming in. Although we don't see the cash itself, we see the bets coming in on the under, and the numbers starting to drop down as well. I think that's the right play, and I think it's a good opportunity. I'm just looking here to see what the first half number is. I see a 69. So interesting enough, the first half under 69 at minus 114. And then the full game, I've got the 145.5 at minus 110. A couple spots for me there.
Let's lock them in. Good job finding the 69. I probably could, but some of these books have the juice 68.5. So Mikey Money, first half under 69, full game. Oh, what was the juice on the under 69?
It's minus 114. It's interesting because we see the number coming down from where it opened, but yet here's that 69 hanging out there with Bet Rivers. Like, all right, we're seeing 68.5 is where that opened up. So we see the first half, they're giving you that half a point. Well, it's gone down everywhere else. So I think that's a great spot. I love that double dip. Minus 114 for the under 69, and then the full game 145.5 at minus 110.
145.5 at minus 110. And CMAC VCU plus 8 at minus 108.
Yep, give it to me. I might move on that first half under. I want to look at a few more things, but I really like it. I mentioned it. Free throws, 65% Utah, 78% for VCU. It's 10th in the country. That's the shit I like.
Yeah, that's how you close the gap at the end, right? That's you're following out there. You see the 1-1, they miss one. You go to the line, you make both yours, and all of a sudden you're covering the back number.
And to close on my interest on this under, we have to look at the travel. We know they're in a pretty tricky situation here in Salt Lake City. So we have VCU going to Villanova. So they're in Pennsylvania, then down to South Florida on the 24th. So then they fly up to Utah on the 25th. Practice yesterday and play today. Kent Davies wants to bet VCU. So let's review all action here in college basketball. We have NBA up next with Dutch Boy Fresh. So here we go. 5 p.m. Mikey Money's on Seattle first half and full game. And C-Max is leaning to the first half under 71.5. And I want to take that lean to I want to bet it. Then we have Mike on IPFW, the Mastodons, and I'm going to join them. It makes me nervous saying that just because 14-0 at home, but I really want to join them. These guys are tough, man. Mike is on UNLV money line and the plus 6.5 in South Orange, and it's good. I'm gonna have to get off Seton Hall, I guess, which I can do. Then C-Max on VCU plus 8 with the first half under lean. Mike's moved on that first half under and full game under. And in this one, C-Mac, I think I would prefer the full game under because we expect Utah to be ahead. Utah doesn't hit their foul shots and VCU's legs to get tired. But I can totally understand. I get the first half under too with the pressure and all that. I'm just okay.
Yeah, I haven't moved on it. I was just on the South Florida in their last game, the first half under. Jimmy, I'm joining you. I just bet it. I'm on the under 71.5. I just need high point pressure of that. So I'm on with you. 71.5 under Seattle.
I hope it's still there.
Let me
as soon
look.
as the show's over, because we're going to get right into NBA here. What is the and I'm not going to send it in right now. But first up under 71.5 was with what juice?
Minus 112.
Minus 112. I'm going to just chop around, see if I can find you a better
Let me see.
line, but C-Mac's locked in.
Okay.
We have an exciting way to close off this segment. Our man on the ones and twos has put together a little video cut for us.
Great.
So,
Looking
Jose,
forward to
take
that.
We went to Retama Park today, and it cost absolutely nothing to get into Retama Park. Matter of fact, it only costs you $10 if you want to park.
Do it.
But Jose, how much did you pay to get into Retama?
I'll take my shirt off too, Mike.
How's your seat
He
right
finally
now?
put one on.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's very comfy. He's got. Again, I've told Mike this like 6 times this week. I thought Mike was 5'5", so
He's not.
this is nice,
Jose
comfy
is
seat.
Oh man, I can. You don't. I know how fat Dutch gets when he's on ice. Now, not only is he backstage, but he had to sit there and watch Jose sit on my lap on top of that. There. I can only wait to hear from him in a little bit. But,
Blue number says it was Dabby's fault. All I can say about that situation is, ah! 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 All right. I love capping with you two gentlemen. Get that cash, and you have likely led us in the situation of getting that cash. So thank you. I enjoyed those breakdowns immensely. I always love capping with you guys. So thank you. We have C-Mac. C-Mac will be on Last Call on Thursday. Be rocking with you on Thursday. And of course, on Saturday, we're going to have the live stream college basketball right after Jeff Nadu's show. And then Mikey Money, tell us a little bit what's going on Last Call tonight.
we got our guy LJ from the H coming in, man. It was so great to meet him and hang out and see him do his thing out there as well. Love talking some hoops with him in person. And he's going to do a live on show tonight. We got the NBA. Terrific card. I'm looking forward to hearing Dutch's breakdown as well and putting all the notes together to come up with some cash. So we small NHL slate. We're going to pound that thing away. We already talked about some college hoops, but should be a great day for prop sides and totals into the NBA with our guy LJ from H-Town. So shout him out, man. Appreciate everybody. C-Mac, great to see you. Dutch Boy Fresh as well, and everybody in the chat. I love breaking balls. You guys want to poke me in the chat? I'll go fucking right back at it. Let's go. Let's get this cash, and let's have some fun while we're doing it, boys and girls. See everybody soon, man.
Later.
Great job from both of you guys. Please follow both on X at Conor Mac Picks and at Pimp Slap POD. We move into NBA and we have a juicy 12-game card. I almost moved on 2 spots, but I held back. Because I want to talk it over with our next guest and the great cappers in the chat. Please welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada, the freshest capper in the sports handicapping industry, Mr. Dutch Boy Fresh. Dutchy, what's good, man? How are you?
Jimmy the motherfucking bag. The NBA is a hell of a drug. And you're looking at the plug. Yeah, man. Good, Jim. How you doing, my friend?
Well, I am a little rocked from the lap sitting incident. Not gonna lie. It's
A long flight, huh?
No. From Jose sitting on Mikey Money's lap.
We went to Retama Park today, and it cost absolutely nothing to get into Retama Park. Matter of fact, it only costs you $10 if you want to park.
Do it.
But Jose, how much did you?
And you know
What do you
what
say?
Razor's talking about too is very humorous. It was free to get to Retama Park, but there was like a little
What the
crawfish
fuck was
festival in
going on
front.
there, bro?
There was a
Yeah, go
crawfish.
ahead, my bad.
No, it's all good. There was a crawfish festival going up front, and our friend Jose, he paid for him, his girlfriend, and his best friend, and parking. So while we all strolled in there, paying $0, he paid $48 to get in and bet horses with us, and that was one of the hardest
Isn't he from
laughs.
there?
That was one of the hardest laughs of the weekend. When we're like an hour into the horses. And then I laugh about how, they almost charged me $12. And then Razor pointed out that there was one man who did pay $12. And of course, I knew immediately who that guy was going to be. And good
Wow.
God, did I laugh at my friend Jose going into the track down $50 without betting on a horse.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We got a lot of work to do, my friend. So let's get right after it. Big giant 12-game basketball card. Troy Torrance says the hardest laugh of the weekend was at Denny's. I have almost zero recollection of that meal at 5 a.m. Zero recollection. Dan Kelly says, I need one more loss by Golden State, one more loss by Atlanta, one more win by the Pelicans to hit a 7-leg season win total parlay that pays 102-1. 102-1. Saturated says, who the hell's counting the bracket scores? Why, is there a problem, Saturated, with it? We're all good, right? Yeah. Is there a problem? I mean, I know who is. It's not me. Let me know.
Hopefully. That's funny.
Okay. All right. Let's get to work. And Dutchie, you were missed in Texas, man. You came up many times. You were very, very much missed, my friend.
Yeah, man. Glad you guys had a good time. It looked like a big weekend, that's for sure.
Ooh, it was yeah, man. All right, let me move over to totals here and have everything set up. Okay. Huge giant NBA card. Let's attack. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern with the Cleveland Cavaliers 44-28, 21-14 on the road at the Charlotte Hornets, 17-54, 9-24 at home. We're at Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. So these two teams are playing at a extremely slow pace right now. And Charlotte's not hitting threes. And I wanted to move on the under in this basketball game. So the under opens up at 206.5, and it doesn't move. It still hasn't moved. It's now juiced to the over. It did go down to 206 for a little while. That was just before showtime, back at 206.5. These two teams just met on Monday night. How many points were scored? 207. Let's break this down. Cleveland's 2-3 over their past 5. They're playing at the slowest pace in the NBA over that stretch, 91.7 possessions a game, shooting 46.4 from the field and 34.7 from 3. Charlotte is in the throes of a 5-game losing streak. They're playing at 93.5 possessions a game. They're shooting poorly, 42.7 from the field, and just 27.4% from 3. BJ, best bet coming in. Sorry, let me make sure I'm copying and pasting all of this. And look at that. Troy Torrance under 207 and Hornets team total under. Okay, that's what I wanted to see and hear. And I think at this point that I'm going to wait a little bit because I think it feels like it's going up. So the victory in Cleveland, 115-92 on Monday night, snapped Cleveland's 3-game losing streak. And these, and then so of course, if we're going to talk about how many possessions these teams have played over the last 5 games, well, then you have to ask how many possessions did each team have on Monday? Well, 92 possessions, which is right in between, their pace over the last 5 games. So nothing has changed here. Dan Kelly says the cool thing about that 102-1 winner is there was no sweat. Dan Kelly, you've been an absolute monster on futures, and you've helped me out very, very much. So I'm very, very, very thankful for our friendship. Here we go. -10 and richly deserved. I love seeing it. This opens up at 10 and moves to 10.5. We have a half-point move towards the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then we have this total, as I went over already. When we go over to the cash flow for this situation here, we have 56% of tickets and 81% of cash on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And from a total perspective, we have 36% of tickets on the under, 64 on the over. We don't have cash information there. Take it away and also another point with these playing 3 days is it generally breeds animosity. But do the Cavaliers and Hornets care about playing each other? I mean, I think the answer is no. I don't think there's going to be any extra animosity. Maybe Dan Kelly would have a better idea because on Monday night I was traveling back. So I didn't get to watch the game on Monday night. So you could tell us, Dan, do you feel like there could be animosity between these two teams, or is there just who cares about a Charlotte team that's 17-54? Take it away for us, Dutchie. Game 1 on the board, Cavs, Hornets.
Yeah, man. Shout out to our guy, Jeff, DK. Good shit with that. Parlay, futures, wine time. I see you, my dude. Troy T in the building. Yeah, man. Mondays, the sesh, this was an easy spot for me. Cavaliers first half, full game. I mean, it was a beautiful motherfucking thing. Today, not so much. I mean, our guy JT Sports says he leans the points. I probably lean with you, man. I probably on that side. If I had to bet this game, it probably would be the Hornets. But I would say tread lightly. These motherfuckers have lost 5 straight, all by double digits, and have not covered one of those games in the first half. So I could understand where people will go right back to the window with the Cavaliers. But in this spot, it kind of reminds me. Now, obviously, they do travel. They played in Cleveland, travel. But the two, just what happened in San Antonio. You know, Phoenix comes in there, smacks around San Antonio. You get in round 2. Suns just don't give a fuck about that game. The Suns even were up big in that game. Spurs just played 4 quarters. Win outright, you know. So you're getting a team getting 10.5 points that probably care a little bit more about the game than the other side. So I would only look Charlotte here, but betting the Charlotte Hornets is not a thing I do. So, you know, shout out to our guy BJ. He says a backwood. He didn't even know this game was on the board type shit. And it's to that level, bro. It's almost to that level. It's definitely a backwood for me though. But it sounds like there's money to be made in this game. I see some sharp guys on the under, liking that under. And kind of seems like you're talking that as well, Jim.
Well, I'm going to wait, Troy. I'm not going to bet this after the show. I'm going to wait. It feels like it's moving to the over, and I'll take every point I can get at this point here. There is Ixnizzle in the house. Wasn't Ixnizzle magic in PBA Palooza? Good God, was he fun to hang out with.
Mr. Blessing.
God, he just brings the party, man. He brings the fun. Shout out to Ixnizzle. He says he's on the Cavs. He ain't scared. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. We have our guy, Icky E. Woods in the house. 7 p.m. Eastern. The Smooth Balls play of the day came in on Golden State +4. The Golden State Warriors 37-34, 19-15 on the road. The Orlando Magic 42-29, 25-10 at home. We're at Kia Center in Orlando, Florida. And my apologies for not bringing up the who was going to be out of the lineup in that Cleveland-Charlotte game. Of course, Mobley and Allen back in business up front on the 5-4. But Dean Wade out, Spider out, Ty Jerome out, and Strus a game-time decision. And the same injuries that Charlotte's be dealing with, Ball, Curry, Martin, and Williams all out there. For Orlando Warriors, we have Gary Harris is out for the Magic, but this is a pretty two healthy squads going at each other here. My dude says Steph Curry going to go off today. Says take the points for show. Robert Franklin on Trey Mann over 4.5 assists in the Charlotte spot. Saturated says I took a Magic at -4.5 and -5.5. And Justin McKelvey says Warriors +145 on his card. And Equinimus says looking at the road Warriors. Let's get into the line history here for this one from a total scenario sitting at 218 flat. This opened up at 217. Did get up to 218.5. We're now sitting with a 1-point move towards the over. When we get to the point spread here on this one, and also with all this fun talking about PBA Palooza and all this capping that needs to be done to get paid, don't forget we have the horse race today at the end of the show. So here we go. We have $50 on the line for all gold members. We have Orlando sitting at -4.5 at -111. This opened up at -5. So we have a half-point move. And again, these are going to be pinnacle lines. It got to 4. It's at 4.5. But we have a half-point move towards the Golden State Warriors. And then when we get to the cash flow here for this one, we have 63% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on the Orlando Magic. Now, we're talking about 15,560 tickets, so there's a decent sample size. 74% tickets on the over and no cash flow there. Warriors 2-3 over their past 5, playing the 14th fastest pace, shooting the ball nice. 49.1% from the field and 37.6 from 3. Orlando doing a very similar thing. They're 4-1 over the better win-loss record, but similar pace, 96.8 possessions a game, hitting 51.4 from the field and 35.5 from 3. Warriors on the second half of a back-to-back after a 113-92 win at Miami last night. There was no Jimmy Buckets. This is their third game in 4 nights. It's a tough spot for them. Magic had their 5-game winning streak snapped on 109-107 loss on Sacramento on Saturday. This is game 5 of an 8-game homestand. Situationally, Dutch, if we weren't watching basketball, if you had no idea what the score was, you just knew the Warriors won. You didn't watch it. Situationally, this is a very well-rested Magic team coming off a loss at home, wanting to send a message to everybody. Situationally, I don't know how we can't be on the Orlando Magic.
Well,
I would like.
I'm all over him. I'm all over the Magic. Yeah, I love this game. -4. I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of love for the Warriors. I don't know what the fuck they're seeing. I mean, the Magic are 25-10 at the crib, 26-4 as a favorite this year. You got a team that's been at home since the 16th, Jim. Since the motherfuckers, we're pushing 2 weeks, just been posted up at the crib, sleeping in their own goddamn bed. You got a team, as Jimmy just said, back to back, third game in 4 nights. Started off in, had a tough game at home against Indiana, then goes to Minnesota, then travels to Miami, and now here in Orlando, a team that's just waiting to smack that ass after getting smacked by them late January too. So you have revenge mode also on our side, Jim, and of course. They've beat them the three prior times to that. So they've won 3 out of the last 4 meetings, however, losing the 1 meeting they played in Golden State this year. Golden State's not playing that good of basketball on top of that. And we got a team in the Magic, I think, that's just in a beautiful spot right here. We know they're going to compete against a Golden State Warrior team, a young Orlando team that's out to prove something in a beautiful spot here. I don't bet the Magic that often, but I love the Magic tonight. I think -4 is good money.
So can I ask you this here? This opened up at BetOnline much earlier at 2:14 p.m. yesterday at -3. By 10:18 p.m., it was -6.5 at -115. Were those people expecting Steph not to play back-to-back?
Maybe.
Because we've had a full...
It was a blowout. It was a blowout last night.
This, at 9:13 a.m., at BetOnline was back to 3.5.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. I don't know, man. These injury, I can't really, to figure out the injury reports, who's gonna play, who's not. This is a spot play, Jim. I don't give a fuck who's suiting up tonight. I think the Magic run these boys out the gym. You got a tired basketball team, you got a well-rested team, a team that just lost at home, off a loss to a tough team at home. They lose to Sacramento 107-109. I believe had one of prior 5 games to that. Magic playing good ball off a loss at the crib. Every check is pointed for the Magic tonight here. So as long as we fade the fugaziness, the NBA fuckery, we're to the motherfucking window with Orlando Magic.
And the stat from Mikey Money here is...
That was a beautiful one.
Wow. We had it up on the screen. I'm so lack of sleep, I can barely... he says, when we have a short line like this, the rested team 25-4 against the spread versus the unrested squad. Wow. And Dan Kelly says the prop he has on the Charlotte game, Mychich over 11.5 points, -105, said the kid's been crushing it at home and sucking wind on the road. Well, Dutch, I don't know how I don't join you on this. The 99% of the cash on the Magic is a little daunting. If I say that, if I truly believe that this is moved from 3 to 6.5, back to 3.5, and now at 4.5 is because Curry's in the lineup. Well, that makes things a little easier.
That's the only thing I could think of.
I hope so. So we can only give you a -4.5 at -110 here. If anybody can beat that, let me know on the onshore books. But offshore, -4.5 at -110. All right.
What's the best 4 you can give me?
Oh, I can pull that up right
no
here.
Worries.
No, I got it right here. It's all good. The best 4 I can give you is...
I hate that fucking hooker.
-123.
No. We'll lay the hooker in Orlando. Hey, we've done it before. We've done it before.
I like the Magic -4.5 too. All right, let's roll on. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern, with the Brooklyn Nets 27-45, 11-26 on the road at the Washington Wizards, 14-58, 6-28 at home, Capital One Arena, Washington, D.C. And it's hard to believe the Wizards are on a 3-game winning streak, but that is facts. Let's get into the line history here. We have Washington right now +3.5 at -104. That's exactly where they opened at Pinnacle. So not a change. Now it has fluctuated, but it's right back from where it started. Then we have under 2. Oh, sorry, that's the Orlando. My bad. Then we have under 221 at -109. This opened up at 223. So we have a 2-point move towards the under. And when we get to the cash flow here for this one, you have 64% of tickets and 98% of the cash on the Brooklyn Nets. And this line is not Moving. 62% of tickets on the under 221.5. Saturated says, who really wants to lay with the Nets? That's the right side in his honest opinion, but he does not want to touch it. And by the way, Pool, for my guy Dom Play, Pool over 15 points. And a Fanatical Jim found you a -4 at -115 at Bet Rivers. That's 8 cents cheaper.
I'll fuck with that. Hey, my man, who was that?
Fanatical Jim.
Appreciate you, Jim. Appreciate you, my guy. I can lay the 1-5.
Let's roll on here. Sorry, that's back there. So, did I go over the cash? I want to see the cash again. Sorry, I might have to do that a couple times here. So it's 64.98 on the Nets, 62 on the under. Brooklyn 1-4 over their past 5 games, playing at a very slow pace, 93.65 possessions a game. That's the 27th fastest over that stretch. 43.7 from the field and 28.7 from 3. You're going to hear that a lot in this breakdown. There's about 4 or 5 teams shooting 28% from 3 over the last 5 games. Washington 3-2, 99.50 possessions a game. Notice they've started winning as they've slowed their pace down. They're about 6 possessions, at least 4, between 4 and 6, depending on when you looked at it during the year, slower than what they've been doing in the regular season. And it's working. It's working because they don't shoot that well from 3. So why speed on it? It's working. So the Nets snapped their 6-game losing streak with a 96-88 win at Toronto on Monday night. This is the final game of a 4-game road trip. The Wizards come in off their 3rd straight win, 107-105 at the Bulls on Monday. Take it away for us here, Dutch. Nets, Wizards.
Yeah, man, I can't lie. This game is one of them games, Jim. Shout out to our guy, Amalie, though. Good to see you, my dude. Justin in the chat. Hope all is well, my guy. North Ender. But yeah, man, this one is a motherfucking backwood, no doubt. This game just irritated me, taking time out of my day, just looking at it last night, Jim. Not gonna lie. I don't like this game at all. I think I agree with Saturated. You know, the Nets should be the play here. But do you really want to lay on the road here with the Brooklyn Nets? But I do think they're a better team. I think they got the 2-3 best players on the court. Somebody in the chat that he said like Jordan Poole over the points. Not mad at that. He'll definitely be shooting the ball. So there's money to be made in this game, probably from a prop perspective. Mikal Bridges, our guy Razor, like that those over 3s from the corner. I think he bounces back and hits that because if you miss a good bet, you got to bet it again, and that's a good bet. So I would look kind of in the prop market with this game, but from a side perspective, not my money, Jim.
Okay, well, hear me out before we move on this. The Brooklyn Nets have nothing to play for, nothing at all. And you could say the Wizards have nothing to play for, but hear me on this. Brooklyn Nets have absolutely nothing to play for. This is the final game of a road trip. They just got Schroeder the win over the Raptors where they cared a little bit about it. You got Thomas right now as a game time decision. Maybe he plays, but I mean, who cares? These guys just don't care. For the first time this year, the Wizards don't mind walking to the court. With Tyus Jones out, Poole knows he's starting. And
you love this fucking Wizard, bro.
Yeah. Wizards have won 3 straight. Why wouldn't they feel
more?
Good?
You and Ski make money off the Wizards, man. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you guys do it though. I've been on the show with you plenty of times. You cash tickets with the Wizards. So usually it's early though.
Usually it's early. Well, because they completely break down. But that's in tougher situations. And I don't. This is not a tough situation. Okay, I'm gonna be on the Wizards plus 3.5 this evening. Let's roll on. All right, we have 7:30 p.m. Eastern action. Portland Trailblazers 19-53, 8-26 on the road. And Kelly McKinnon says, "You pulling out the lipstick?" Yes, pulling out the lipstick, putting lipstick on a pig, baby. That pig's named the Washington Wizards. Speaking of pig, where's Billy Friedrich? Missing the pig milk play today, man. State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Here. Let's take a look at the line history and talk about who we can expect in the lineup. First off, DeJounte is a game time decision here. And that's a problem with so many players out. Trae Young, Okongwu, Johnson to start with. But a lot of players out of the lineup. And same deal with the Blazers. You got Simons, Sharp, Brogdon, Jeremy Grant. Oh, Jeremy Grant's game time. So is Thibault and Ayton. I'd love if we could get some insight on the thoughts of those three guys, Ayton, Thibault, and Grant, whether they will be in the lineup here. Markel says Hawks should win so I can fade them against Celtics for that embarrassing loss tomorrow. All right, let's pull up the line history here for this one. And Wine Time says, man, that Wizards first quarter and first half on Friday at Southtown was easy. Says shout out to my guy Troy for that. Yeah, that was perfect. It was just, we cashed that, we broke it down. It was just perfect. They could all be perfect. Let's get into the line history here for Portland, Atlanta. We have it under 217 at minus 101. Got up to 217.5 and back to 217. 5-cent move to the over. Dan Kelly says it's Atlanta or nothing. And there's TJ. Says MLB opening day tomorrow. Guess who's back with the gifts? Oh, man. I love that. Shady's back. I love it. TJ, we got to talk, TJ, because we want them gifts live and in person here on screen. Portland, Atlanta. So Atlanta sitting at minus 10.5 at minus 1. Oh, sorry, I did that already. Sorry. That will happen a bit. We're at 25 hours of no sleep. And from a cash flow spot here, we have, here we go. 78% of the tickets on the Trailblazers, which is a surprise. 55% of the tickets on the over. And again, no cash flow information. Smoking Tree says first half Hawks minus 6 is a lean for me. So Portland 0-5. They've lost 7 straight, but over the last 5 games, they're playing at 16th fastest pace, 97.80 possessions a game, 44.6 from the field, and another team that can't hit any threes of late with all the injuries to their stars, 27.6% from 3. Atlanta 3-2 over the past 5, playing at the night at 23rd fastest pace. We all know what happened when Ice Trae left. They slowed down and they started winning a basketball game. 95 possessions a game. They're shooting 48.7 from the field and 40.4 from 3. They're shooting the ball really nice. Blazers come in off that 7th straight loss, 110-92 at Houston on Monday. And the Hawks come in off their 2nd straight win, a game that was just discussed in the chat. 120-118 at home versus the Celtics, beating the Celtics. How do they go from the Celtics to the Blazers? Take it away, Dutch. Blazers, Hawks at State Farm.
Yeah, man. I think the Hawks right here. I like what Smoking Tree. He leaning. I'm gonna bet it first half. 1 unit minus 6. I like this game for the Hawks here. Losing early March 13th, and in Portland by they lose outright, but we're up +5 at half. They cover the first half, lose the game outright in Portland. Portland hasn't won too many games. I mean, 7 straight losses. This isn't a good basketball team, and this starting lineup now with Atlanta, I do believe Murray's in. You got Bogdanovic. You got this. You got 3 guys shooting around 40%. This new Keychick, or however the fuck you say his name, came in. He's shooting around 40% from the 3. I guess with Deontay Hunter back in the lineup, Capella being healthy, the starting 5 is decent. It's decent, most definitely. So I'm looking at them to just put away with Boston on deck, carry up over a little bit of momentum from that comeback, one big comeback, 30-point loss. Being down 30 to Boston and winning at the home. I just think there's levels to this shit, and I think that starting 5 is going to put these boys away early. Shout out to our guy, JP. If you didn't know, he's on the motherfucking intro. But yeah, man, I definitely like Atlanta early here, minus 6. They should blow them out, Jim, but I'll take them early here. I look to fade them. I look to fade Portland early here. So I think Murray, Hunter, Bogdanovic, they spread the court, get what they want at the house. They pick their number first half.
Well, we can offer you something a little better here. We can offer you, if you want it, the 5.5 minus 5.5 at minus 113.
Yeah, let's do it. It's funny too, because this is probably like my least. I have 5 bets today, Jim. This is probably my least favorite, just to keep it a buck with you guys. But and it's funny because that's probably the only game that I'll probably get the worst number on, or that I bet.
And interesting from Dan Kelly says, if you want to avoid a backdoor cover, take Atlanta team total over or ride with Dutch.
I think team total over first half is nice too. I was thinking that.
Okay, I'm going to need more time on that, but asterisks beside it, very interesting. Saturated says Atlanta's a losing against the spread record versus teams in the bottom 10 defensive efficiency. Portland is a winning against the spread record versus teams in the top 10 offensive transition efficiency. Can anybody find out if it's possible? I don't know. I mean, the shoot-arounds happened, right? It's 1 p.m. now Eastern. If they think that the game time decisions in Ayton, Thibault, and Grant, if any of them will be in the lineup tonight. That would be extremely helpful if you could do that for us. All right, and there's Dabby Cab in the house. Dabra rocking. I haven't put in his 3-0 when we were in San Antonio, which was 5-0.
Damn.
5-0.
He about to be the
yeah,
he's about to be it, huh?
Got
to get to 60.
He's got to be at 63 right now or 64. I'll have to look at that. But Dabby Cab trying to get home with this 60 plus. And he's going to be doing the same thing in MLB.
Yeah, that's real impressive. What is impressive? I went just to, because, you said it before. I was the closest motherfucker to it, right? And I was 60% all season. But the playoffs is what hurt me. And it's impressive to see him do it in a tournament, which is way more of a crapshoot than NBA playoffs. I'll just keep it real. So shout out to our guy, Dabby Cab. Check it out. Check it out tonight. I believe they'll be doing All About the Hoops.
Oh, yeah.
All About the Hoops will be back tonight, Sunday. Obviously we had, March Madness and everything with the San Antonio trip. But, yeah, we'll be back rocking. So check it out right here, Puff Sports Radio, All About the Hoops. The long-winded pimp, Mikey Money, Billy Briz, of course, Dabby Cab, Wham Bam. The whole motherfucking crew coming at you. Believe it.
Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We have the Los Angeles Clippers, 44-27, 22-14 on the road at the Philadelphia 76ers, 39-33, 21-15 home. Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Both teams 2-3 over their past 5. Both teams playing at a very similar pace. Bottom 10 in the NBA. 94.5 possessions for the Clip Show, 95.2 for the Sixers. The difference is the Clippers are hitting 50.1% from the field over these 5 games. The Sixers have continually struggled to shoot the ball, 43.1 from the field and 34.8 from 3. Clippers not that much better from 3 at 36.5%. Let's get into the line history. This is sitting right now, this total at 215. 215. It opened up at 218.5. So the big 3.5 point move towards the under. And then we have here on the spread. Sorry, let me just get some of these comments here to pop up on the screen. There we go. And then from a spread perspective here, we're sitting with Philadelphia at +4, a +4 at -110. So they opened up as 3-point dogs. They're now 4-point dogs.
It's only 4.
And yeah, you have to ask yourself, does Harden, will the boys, will they want to fight for Harden? We've heard from our guys. Sorry, let me go back to the top here because that's where I got all the best bets. Clippers -5.5 for BJ. Let me go back to that.
Where are you seeing this? Where are you seeing the 4 at?
Oh, it's my bad. I'm on first half.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what's going on here? Who's out? God damn it, who's out? Because I'm loving BJ right now. Look. But.
Thank you. It was on first half. Thank you. Clippers are sitting at so it's a pretty interesting line to think of them 4 on the first half, 6 or 6.5, depending on where you shop. 6.5 right now over at Pinnacle. This opened up at 6, but this spent a lot of time at 5.5. You could have got it all morning at 5.5. The 1 point move went up 6 and went back to 5.5. This was at 5.5 45 minutes ago. So full point move in the last 45. Clippers are a healthy group right now. And of course, Embiid, Melton, Covington out, and Oubre a game time decision. And Don Play says Tobias Harris sucks, man. He just can't be counted on. Don Play saying 76ers are only Maxey, and he's a hell of a basketball player. So that's the line history. Let's take a look at the cash flow and see if it supports this look on the Clippers. From a cash flow, we have no cash flow. God, site. I'm with you. Let's move to VSiN. 86% of the tickets are on the Clippers. No idea what the cash numbers are. 68% of tickets are on the under. So to set this up for you, my guy, we know that BJ's best bet is on these Clippers. They come off their second straight loss, 133-116 at home versus the Pacers on Monday. I know that they lost those 2 games at home, but on Tuesday, you fly all the way across the country. Maybe I'm diving into this too much. Now, I mean, Philadelphia's in a tough spot. This is their 3rd game in 4 nights. They come off their 3rd loss in 4 games, 108-96 at the Kings on Monday. So, both teams have just traveled all the way across the country. So I guess that puts a line through that. Both teams are in the same traveling situation. I'm surprised at that. Make sure I didn't mess that up with this lack of sleep. But take it away here. I'm going to double check that. Take it away for us here, Dutchy. Clippers, Sixers.
Yeah, man. I like the motherfucking Clippers here. And I say the motherfucking Clippers because goddamn it, this team pisses me off. I mean, they're just haven't really been the same team since this All-Star break. But I like the Clippers an awful lot here. It's a Clipper spot here. You get smacked the fuck around at the crib by Indiana. The game before that, Philadelphia comes to town, 9-point underdog, beat you outright by 14 in your crib, shooting, giving up 23 to Cameron Payne. I mean, okay, Tobias Harris, Maxey 24, I give you that, but 23 from Cameron Payne off the bench, goddamn. 48% from three-point line, knocking down 18 threes. That ain't gonna happen again. I mean, the Clippers, then they turn around, then they get smacked by Indiana at the crib. Now it's the first game on the road, first game back for Philadelphia after a 4-game West Coast trip, starting in Phoenix, losing there, goes to the double trip there in LA, lose to the Lakers, beat the Clippers as we just talked about, and then travel to Sacktown and lose in Sacramento as well. So you get one day off and you back at the crib, and we know we don't got to go through that, but you only got one motherfucking day after a trip to the West Coast and 3 nights in LA. Yeah, you definitely gonna have to handle some business with the family. This is just the Clipper spot. They should be pissed the fuck off, ready to rock and roll. They just came in here and got smacked around by this team on their home court. You got the factor of James Harden going back to Philly on top of that, but really the roster right now, there's levels to this shit, and the Clippers are on another level than the Philadelphia 76ers. So go in there, handle motherfucking business early and often. Clippers, man. It's a clear Clippers spot here. This is a tired Sixers team. So, I got the 5.5, but whatever the best number is, I believe it'll be double digits.
-6 at -110. My dude's got Zubac to get 7 rebounds. All right, let's lock that in for you, Dutch. Boy, fresh -6 at -110. I'm interested in joining you.
And I would do first half here, my bad, Jim, but this is a team I don't trust. So, I remember last time I did them first half here with you, they didn't cover the first half and they pushed full game, I believe, -6. So,
yeah,
I'm not doing the same fucking thing. I'm going to take a full game, not get cute, and they should easily win this game.
And in that game, they were down all game long.
Yeah,
they were down all game long. They came back with 2 minutes left in the game and pushed.
Yeah, they only looked decent in the late fourth quarter. Outside of that, they were fucking a depressing basketball team.
All right, let's lock this in here. We have Smoking Trees, Max, play of the day. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Got Scotty Rock in the building. That's our last game on the card. So let me just copy and paste that right there. Okay, let's roll on. Dutch on the Clip Show -6 at -110. I think it's important to get the 6 and not the 6.5 as well. 7:30 p.m. because Pinnacle's moving to 6.5. 7:30 p.m. Eastern with the New York Knicks 43-28, 19-15 on the road. Toronto Raptors 23-49, 13-23 at home at Scotiabank Arena, Toronto, Ontario. Knicks are 4-1 over the past 5, playing good basketball. 25th fastest pace, 94.70 possessions game. They've been playing in that around that number all season long. 46.6 from the field and 36.3 from 3. Randall out, OG out, and now Burks and Mitchell Robinson game time decisions. So Hartenstein, Hart, DiVincenzo, McBride, and Brunson would be the expected starting group. Freeman Liberty is the starting point guard for the Toronto Raptors. Jonte Porter is out of the lineup. This is just a wild story that we're going to hear a lot more of. Dan Kelly says we could probably get some cheap tickets for New York Knicks tonight. I will jump in the car right now if you want to go. Dan, I've not slept in 25 hours and MLB starts tomorrow. So I'm going to be alone.
Jimmy's not leaving the house for a long time.
I'm going to be alone in a dark room. Tomorrow is one hell of a card, man. But that would sound really nice if I was like a regular dude, but Toronto 0-5 over the past 5, 98.5 possessions a game, 12th fastest in the league over that stretch, 44.6 from the field and 27.6% from 3. Let's get into line history here for this one. Knicks are now -13.5, -105. Open up at -13, so we have a half-point move towards them. I mean, this is just so embarrassing. But if it gets us into the lottery, I don't know. It's just it's a sad state of affairs for the basketball team, and then you have Jonte Porter out there. It's just hard to believe. So the total opens up at 210.5, now at 211.5. Troy Torrance says, I would want to go back to the Raps team total under, but things change when we have a 4-possession spread. So the Knicks coming off their 6th win in 7 games, 124-99 at home over Detroit on Monday. They're just playing good ball. Raptors coming off their 11th straight loss, 96-88 at home versus Brooklyn on Monday night. They're the worst team in the NBA. Dutch, my man, I don't know if I mentioned the cash flow. I didn't, so let me just do that. 75% of the tickets and 98% of the cash on the New York Knicks, 68% of tickets on the over. Take it away for us, Dutch, here, Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. What an embarrassment to the country.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not good. It's not good for the Toronto Raptors, man. I think, you got the Blue Jays starting tomorrow, though, so hopefully things,
oh God,
turn around a little bit for you, because you got some talent over there. But for the Raptors, man, it's all bad. It's all bad, man. It really is. So it's Knickerbockers or nothing, really. I mean, we see people in the chat. Our guy Markel, I believe, like in that first half. Yeah, man. I mean, these Knicks, what they do is they beat up on the shitty teams. I mean, they beat the fuck out of them. So the records is really insane. They struggle against teams that are above 500 and that play good, that are really good basketball teams. The Knicks, you could kind of look to fade them, but against bum squads, which the Toronto Raptors most definitely are, they put these boys away. So I wouldn't be mad at you if you like the Knicks in some type of way here. Not a game that I'm going to be betting here, but there's clearly levels to this shit, and the New York Knicks are on another level than the Toronto Raptors.
I don't want it either. I with all the negative media that we're getting in Toronto, maybe they can step up and try. And the Knicks just beat up on a sorry group. I mean, they're not going to be locked in here, but I mean, Quickly out, Pirtle out, Boucher out, RJ Barrett out, Scotty Barnes out. It's
not good.
It's not good. I mean, it's just been one of the worst. Probably, I would say it's just been the worst week in the history of the Raptors franchise. If you have RJ Barrett's, Rowan Barrett, his dad, has been so important to Team Canada. It's so important to all Canadian basketball fans. You have, his son, Rowan Barrett's son, RJ Barrett, his brother die, and then you have this Jonte Porter stuff. Mitchell Robinson questionable. I mentioned that. But in saying all that, I just don't see why the Knicks would be locked in. I guess we just let's just move past it. Dan Clay says Josh Hart rebounds go over just about every single time. And by the way, an interesting thing too, the Canadian gambling authority, this new thing that's come up since we legalized all the books, they're not investigating Jonte Porter. The police have nothing to do with it. They're saying like, no, we're not doing anything about it. So once again, the Canadians just apologizing and doing squad ass zilch, while the Americans have to step up and enforce things, with the Canadians just sitting back. That our lone ship, our lone Navy ship, it's landlocked. It's in like Alberta or some shit. If you need anything, don't ask us unless it's weed.
That's sweet, right?
Let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. The Indiana Pacers 41-32, 20-17 on the road at the Chicago Bulls, 34-38, 18-19 at home. We're at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Indiana 3-2 over their past 5. Second fastest pace in the league, 101 possessions a game. Shooting the ball nice, 52.9 from the field, 41.9 from 3. Chicago 2-3, 15th fastest pace, 97.9 possessions a game. Also shooting the ball nice, 48.9 from the field and 34% from 3. Not quite as nice as the Pacers. Obviously, Pacers coming on off their third win in 4 games, 133-116. The Clippers on Monday. This is the final game of their 5-game road trip and their third game in 4 nights. This is a bad situation for the Pacers, but they're playing very good ball. The Bulls coming off their third straight loss, 107-105 at home to the Wizards. It was absolutely embarrassing. Let's get into the line history here for this spot. This total sitting at 235. Opened up at 234 at Pinnacle. We have a 1-point move to the over. And then from a spread perspective here, we have Chicago +3. They opened up at +2.5. It didn't move to 3 until about just under an hour ago. And then when we get to the cash flow for this one, we have, sorry, tripping here. Here we go. We have actual information. Thank you, Action Network. Because you fucked us. You fucked us for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, Action Network. Right in the drink hole. Right in the bottom mouth is where you found us. 44% of the tickets on the Pacers, 97% of the cash, 58% of the tickets on the over, and 67% of the cash. Action Network, after I renewed my shit, actually giving us some fucking information. Take it away, Dutchie. Interesting one. Two teams that play really, under an hour away from each other, that do have a rivalry. Take it away, Pacers, Bulls.
Yeah, man. I think there's levels to this shit with this game with Indiana Pacers, but this line is just kind of creeping with me, man. It doesn't seem. I feel like it really should be more. But then you look, they did play March 13th. Though, it was a spot, more of a spot here for Chicago. Indiana had just beat OKC back-to-back situation. They go in there. A lot of people like Chicago in that game. I believe we talked about it. It broke it down. But it was a 132-129 win by the Bulls as a 3-point dog. Excuse me, as a 5-point dog in overtime. Tough basketball game. But when I look at the Chicago Bulls, outside of Kobe White, man, nobody really can shoot a perimeter shot. I mean, their starting lineup. I mean, I guess you bring Alex Caruso off the bench and he's okay, but I mean, they do not have guys that can shoot the 3-pointer. And in today's NBA, you got to be able to spread the court and knock down some shots. Indiana definitely has some guys that can do that. It's a low number here for Indiana. It's almost like they're begging you to bet the Pacers here. But I can't go to the window with the Chicago Bulls. And it is a tough spot, as you mentioned, with the Indiana Pacers. It's the last game of the road trip. Tough road trip, too. They've been very impressive on that road trip. Beating Golden State, beating the Clippers, scoring 145 points, but losing to the Lakers 145-150. But I do believe the Pacers are just a better team, But is it a case of another bad spot where the Bulls got them in just 2 weeks ago, after beating OKC? BJ says bad spot for the Pacers, and that's probably why I'll just stay off this game. But I do see value here with the Pacers, man. I can't lie. I just think the Bulls just don't do it for me, man. Outside of Kobe White, there's nobody I trust on that team to knock down a perimeter shot. DeRozan can knock down the mid-range, but shoot all the threes you want, DeRozan. And they play defense like the Bulls, I don't know, but the Indiana doesn't score, so 234 seems high, but I'm not a totals guy.
Jared Fergus says Canada's finest Uber driver. Have you seen my wheels? Uber wouldn't accept it. I'll tell you that much. Uber would say no thank you to my wheels. So that's that. Look, I get it. Pacers are a better basketball team. I get it. And the Chicago Cappers, Sanchez says, everyone keeps saying this is a bull spot. I call BS. Pacers will run my Bulls into the ground. Pacers elite rim defense. Vooch is not elite. And then you have another Chicago Capper in our guy. Troy says, fuck the Bulls, pathetic organization. And he also added that saying that they're the most, I can't find it now, but I believe he said they're overvalued spot in the NBA. Look, this is a horrific spot for the Pacers, and I don't think that last game when the Bulls, took care of business. No, I don't think that's the pressing point. The pressing point is this is the final game of a 5-game road trip. Now they're so close to home, here in Chicago, so close to Indiana, and the Bulls come in off an absolutely embarrassing loss. I just feel like this is a bull spot. Now, I agree with Troy that if it gets to 4, that's, you probably have to buy off of it. But I really do I'm going to be on the Bulls. I mean, and my ROI with the Bulls is being just fine. So I'm going to be on the Bulls tonight. I understand the Pacers are a much better team, but Troy Torrance says the Pacers win the last matchup, I'll probably be on the Bulls. I mean, is there really a rivalry between these two? I know they're so close in distance, but I don't know if there is. That was a really fun game, 132-129 anyways. Okay, let's roll on. That was a really interesting game. This is the one that I almost came into the show and had already bet. And it's good that I haven't because the juice is moving towards the Lakers. And I wanted to talk it out. If I was going to move on the Grizzlies. Lakers are 40-32, 13-20 on the road. At Memphis Grizzlies 24-48, 8-27 at home. Troy Torrance says when you lose an OT like that, you remember. Will that be I don't have the answer to this, but psychologically, if you're in the NBA, you play for the Pacers, and you have life right in the palm of your hands. You have everything that you could possibly want in life. Would you be thinking of last time that we played the Bulls? They got us in overtime. This shit basketball team. This is our 5th game of road trip. We got to come together and beat this team. That's what you hope. They're thinking. But
no, I think they're thinking they want to get the fuck home.
Yeah.
It's the last game of the road trip. They're not thinking about that. They're probably thinking about that badass fucking broad they just had in LA.
I agree with all of that sentiment, but I do not pretend that I have the answer to that, but that's what I would agree with. Let's roll into this spot here. Lakers at Memphis Grizzlies. We're at FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to Wine Time Sports on the Lakers plus 9.5 yesterday. Watching Reeves drop a trip dub was shocking. Watching Lakers come all the way back and take the W was shocking. It also scared me because that plus 275 to win the division that Dan Kelly got me on at the All-Star break. On the Bucks, it made me quite nervous. Here we go. Lakers 4-1 over their past 5, 101.38 possessions a game. That's first in the NBA. They've been doing that all post All-Star break. 49.3% from the field, 38.2% from 3. Then we have Memphis 1-4, 8th fastest paced team, 99.43 possessions a game, shooting the ball poorly as would be expected, 41.2% from the field and 34.4% from 3. So the first thing is LeBron James going to play today? Dutch, do you know if LeBron James is going to be in the lineup?
I mean, the way he was on the fucking sidelines yesterday, looks like his ass will play today. I can't figure out this fucking guy, but yeah, I would think he plays today.
Wine Time Sports says Bane to the fucking bank tonight, fellas. It says Bane loves playing the Lakers, and Wine Time saying LBJ is in. So the lineup, as we expect it to be right now. I mean, Williams is a game time decision. We know that Kennard's out, but the starting lineup: Pippen, Bane, Gigi Jackson, Aldama, and Jaren Jackson Jr. will be the 5 here. So let's go. Lakers on the second half, back after winning their 4th straight game, 128-124 in double overtime without the services of LBJ, who will be in the lineup tonight. This is their 3rd game in 4 nights. Quinn is saying expected to play as well. The Grizzlies coming off their 5th loss in 6 games, 128-103 at Denver on Monday. It was an embarrassment. And now they get to play the Lakers in a sold-out FedEx Forum. Right now, I came very close to moving on the Grizz at +4, but I thought about waiting, and it's going to be a 4.5 any minute. It's -4 at -113 for the Lakers. That's an 8-cent move towards them. So I was right to wait, and I'm going to wait. Yeah, Dan Kelly, I went over all that. So Dan Kelly's saying Cavs still have 5-game West Coast road trip to play in their last 10. Milwaukee is a much easier last 10. I'm a little scared of the Bucks playing the Magic 2 of their last 3 games. And Magic might care about showing out before the playoffs. But I think everything will be fine. But I did get a little nervous. Let's get into the line history here for this one. On the total, we have a 223, a -113 juice to the under. This has come up from 221, 2-point move to the over. From a spread perspective, I went over that again, and I apologize for repeating stuff. It's a lack of sleep, and hopefully this the insomnia goes away. But I know what it is. The first question, of course, from my girlfriend was like, "Well, what's going on? Are you losing? Now, no, baseball starts tomorrow. You try capping a year of baseball." I'm nervous about baseball. Can a man not sleep because baseball starts tomorrow? Doesn't mean I'm fucking losing. 46% of the tickets, 62% of the cash on the Lakers, 59% of the tickets on the over. Take it away for us, Dutch. I want the Grizzlies here.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Grizzlies, it's definitely a Grizzly spot here. Big comeback win after being down, down there 20 to, put against these Bucks yesterday. The Lakers showed up. AD played out as my AR. Austin Reeves, did well. D'Lo's assist has been money. Shout out to our guy Ski and the crew that D'Lo's assist. I mean, probably go right back to the window with that. Outside of that, I don't know, man. It's crazy because the Lakers seem to play better without LBJ. I don't know. The role players just step up. I don't know if they're nervous or what the fuck goes on, but I mean, AD ain't gonna play like he did last night. So I can see where you're thinking, where you're coming from, Jim, in this game. But the Grizzlies, man, they've lost 5 out of the last 6. Only win coming against San Antonio. However, they did just get smacked by 25 in Denver. So you got a team who did just get blown out, should be ready to rock and roll, getting a little more healthy. One thing I don't like is they did beat them by 14 in LA. Memphis did by 14. Now that was the game. Ja was coming back, came off the bench, did his thing, and they smacked LA in LA. And Ja and the crew was dancing. So does LBJ and the crew come back and AD play and say, hey, we want to get it in Memphis? Maybe not, probably not. But I will bring that up because it definitely happened. They got smacked. And I was on the Grizzlies in that game. I remember it was a good, and they, Ja was back doing his little dance and shit. So yeah, that's only a factor I lay in there against. I could maybe make a case for the Lakers, but clear spot play is definitely the Grizzlies. But I have no action on this game.
I'm gonna wait. I am going to JP's in my God, since I've been back. Oh man. Okay, let's move on. Next up for us, 8 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Pistons 12-65-29 on the road at the Minnesota Timberwolves 49-22, 25-9 at home. Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Speaking of the girlfriend, I got to pay for parking right now. My son has his 3-year-old checkup, and can you pay for parking? As if I'm just sitting at home, capping baseball. Okay. Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have Detroit 0-5. They've lost 7 straight. They're coming off that 124-99 at the Knicks on Monday. 9th in pace, shooting the ball terribly. We talked about the 27.8% from 3, 42.7 from the field. Minnesota 4-1 at 96.3 possessions, game at 19th fastest, 47.8 from the field, and 44.6% from 3. They're really shooting the ball well. The Pistons. So this is the Pistons' 3rd game in 4 nights. Were they embarrassed? For what they did at MSG. The Timberwolves coming off their 2nd straight win, 5th in 6 games, 114, 110 at home versus Golden State. I mean, that meant something to them, and this game doesn't. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have Minnesota at -15, -109. They opened up at 14.5, now -15. And then from a total perspective, we are sitting here at 216.5 at a pick'em. This opened up at 215.5. It's gone up a point. And then cash flow here. We have 88% of tickets and 88% of cash on the Timberwolves, 54% of tickets on the under. I mean, the market. I have no interest in the Timberwolves whatsoever. But I'm not. I don't know. Take it away, Dutch. Pistons, Timberwolves.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Johnny Guns. I see my dude Robert Franklin in the building. I don't know, man. I there's no way I'm taking the Pistons here, but I can't lay 15 with Minnesota. The Pistons are a team that just can't stop nobody. So if you're gonna bet the Minnesota, I would look at team total over. I mean, look what the Knicks just did to them recently. When I watched that game, and I was just looking at the Pistons, man. They just can't stop anybody. They literally have no defense. So only thing I could look in this game, Jim, is the Minnesota team total over. I'd probably put these boys, should be pretty easy, to get 120 on these boys. Saying that, Pistons do find a way usually to hang around. They did get smacked in Madison Square Garden. So they got some guys that can, that can get their own buckets, but shooting, they're not that good either. So from the perimeter, watching them shoot from 3 points, damn near laughable. So I think I'm not gonna lay the wood. I'm not gonna lay the wood with Minnesota, but I would go team total over.
Saturate looking at the Pistons team total under.
That too. I mean, they barely break 100. They just went over. Their team total against the Knicks was 96.5. They got 99 because it was such a blowout. The Knicks kind of just took the foot off the pedal late. But they can't. They have a hard time breaking 100. So that's a solid look.
Duran and Cunningham game time decisions. Can anybody let me know if we have any more information on that? Edwards and Gobert game time decisions. Of course, Towns out. Can anybody let us know if what? And I'll be able to do that after the show. And I've started to do that now. But honestly, I just don't see how the Timberwolves will be locked in the first quarter. And I'm leaning towards Pistons first quarter. Now, Robert Franklin says he watched the Pistons score 10 points in the first quarter. Again, you have a bias, but they're a trash basketball team, so your bias is probably on point. Okay, let's roll on for us. Next up, Houston Rockets at Oklahoma City. Houston Rockets 36-35, 9 straight wins. Come off that 110-92 win at home over Portland on Monday night. At the Oklahoma City Thunder, 50-21, 28-7. OKC is on the second half of a back-to-back after their fifth win in 6 games, 119-112 at the Pelicans last night. This is their third game in 4 nights. I was shocked to see this spread. Really, really surprised. Let's go into this. This total sitting at 230 right now. It opened up at 230. So we've had just 6 cents of movement to the under. And then from a spread situation here. Oh, and I did pay for 45 minutes of parking for anyone sitting back going, did Jimmy give a fuck? Yeah, I did. 45 minutes parking. That's what you asked for. Job done. Parking app. Let's cap. This is sitting at -6.5 for OKC. That's where it opened, but it was at 7 for a while, and now it's at 6.5. So there was a half-point move. Now it's back. And Justin McKelvey, stacks play of the day is on these Rockets +7. And and Dan Kelly saying not just 9 straight W's, all without Sengun here for the Rockets, and it really opened up space for these guys who desperately want the basketball. So Whitmore out too, and Whitmore may end up being a stud, but here's another guy who wants the ball nonstop. He just wants the ball. He's a bull, or he's a bulldog. I mean, whatever you want to say. Like I like that energy, but I don't think he always. I don't think it always helps the way he plays at this point in his career. It doesn't matter if he's on or off. He just wants the ball. I do think he's going to be very good. So I don't mean anything otherwise. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. 41% of the tickets on the Rockets, no cash information. 64% of the tickets on the under. And again, the Action Network not helping us. So Houston and OKC playing at almost the exact same pace. Top 5 in the NBA, just barely over 100 possessions a game. Houston shooting 39.3% from 3. Take it away for us here, Rockets Thunder.
Yeah, man, I'm with our guy Justin and the stacks play of the day. I like the Rockets here +7. I think the Rockets, man, I think they're just playing good basketball, and you got to tie. It's a good spot here for Houston in this situation where, they've lost. They've coming in here. Been actually smacked back-to-back times versus OKC. So they beat them February 27th by 17 at home in Oklahoma City, and then smacked them by 13 at the house in Houston. So you kind of got a double revenge factor here from a team that's playing just like team. You kind of touched on it with the injuries. They're playing team basketball. Udoka's got these guys bought the fuck in. Jalen Green's looking like a star. But really, man, it's OKC. They just had a road trip, started in Toronto, went to Milwaukee, went to New Orleans last night. Now you're back home. It's, this is tough spot, real tough spot for a team. So I don't know. OKC, I think Houston's live to win the game. So you can give me a touchdown. I'm going to go to the window with it, even though I know the Thunder are on another level than Houston when it matters. So give me the Houston Rockets here. 10 straight. We're going for 10 straight here. The Houston motherfucking Rockets. Shout out to our guy LJ from H-Town.
Are you surprised that at this point, they're telling us that 59% of the tickets are on the Thunder. Who in God's name would be betting the Thunder in this situation? Third game of 4 nights, second half back-to-back against the Rockets teams, won 9 straight.
Just the average motherfuckers that just think OKC, Houston. But I mean, it's not a big travel, not much travel for OKC. You could stay as well, and they've just bullied them. I mean, they got 2 double-digit wins already this year versus Houston. So, and it's recent.
+7 at -108. Yeah, I'd like to join you. I mean, but I need to sit with it a little bit. I mean, when the line came out, did you think this line made sense?
When it was 6, I was like, okay, and then it goes to 7. I'm like, that's a little. I guess people still really like OKC. I mean, they're a bet on team. They're most definitely a bet on team. But I think that game, they're up 20 last night. They're my only bet yesterday outside of a small bet on a prop, which De'Aaron Fox did not show up, but I had a nice bet on OKC yesterday. And a lot of people like the Pelicanos, but I liked OKC. And they started off real good and then kind of collapsed a little bit and made that a game that they shouldn't have. So I believe they exerted a lot of energy. And then we've already talked about it. You're going to Toronto, a tough game against Milwaukee, and now you're in a back-to-back traveling home. It's a nice spot for Houston here.
Yeah, I get it. And I'm surprised, a little surprised that Troy says the line should be -9.5 because situationally I think it should be 6.
Yeah, 6 was pretty nice to me, but when I seen 6, I felt like the average person is just gonna go straight to the window with OKC.
Yeah, the guys are answering that perfectly, Kelsey. Answering it perfectly. So if you have a unit on the spread, you might put a quarter of a unit on the money line. As you said, Troy that means a half unit for Troy. Professor Chris says OKC is actually better in their spot than Houston is in their spot.
Houston's really bad on the road. I mean, they are. Let's just be honest. They have won 9 straight, but Houston's been a fade. Like, no matter what the fuck the number is, you just fade Houston on the road.
Yeah, exactly. And Professor Chris is right if you're looking at a year full of data.
Yeah.
But this is a team that's won 9 straight. And Professor Chris, I like the comment. The comment is as you always do, but that's over a year full of data. I mean, we're not talking post All-Star break.
Yeah, it's been a different league since post All-Star break. Just the totals alone.
All right, we have 2 games left on this monster card. Dutch, you've done a spectacular job, and also all of you in the chat have as well. 9 p.m. Eastern with the San Antonio Spurs, 16-56, 7-29 on the road at the Utah Jazz, 29-43, 20-16 at home, Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, Troy says 9 straight versus whom? I get that. And I like
line them up, knock them down, Troy. Line them up, knock them down, bro. Come on,
Troy,
now.
are you moving on OKC? And Professor Chris saying 63.6% against the spread with no rest. Are you moving on it, Troy? That's what we want to know. That's okay. That's what I want to know. It's like I hear what you're saying, but are you betting it? Because that will, if you're betting it, because I feel a little shaky with the line. So if you're moving on it. Please let me know. Here we go. Spurs, Jazz, North Ender on the Jazz -3.5. Let's get into the line. It says he's thinking about it, wants cash flow numbers. I get it. I feel you. Okay. So that was a nice line getting the Jazz at 3.5. They're 5 everywhere, but not at Pinnacle. Pinnacle is a Jazz -4.5 at -104. This has been bouncing all over the place. It's down to 4 now. So this has been bouncing all over the place. Wow. So I see 5s on the board. I would have to click on them. Let me click on one of them. Why don't we try Will Hill? Let's click on Will Hill. Do they have this at 5 right this second? And they just moved it to 4. They moved it to 4 17 minutes ago. So everybody's moved it to 4 here. Let's just give Bet Online a shot here. What has Bet Online done? Bet Online's just moved it to 4.5. But Bet Online opened this at 3. This got up to 5 at 1 p.m. It's gone back half point. So there's buyback right now on the Spurs. And Professor Chris says he's not on it. Models OKC -6.22. Okay, so very, very interesting here. And Wemby, a game time decision. Does anybody think that Wemby will be in the lineup here tonight? Of course, he missed the the second half of the back-to-back in the Suns game, but it was supposedly an actual injury and not a rest day. This total at 228.5, and it is opened up 229.5, a 1 point move to the under. Let's get into the cash flow here for this one. On the cash flow, we have 15% of the tickets and 32% of the cash on the Spurs. 15 and 32. It's 50-50 on the total. And BJ says, North Ender, bull motherfucker, says Jazz are ass and Spurs are definitely garbage. So it's a backward there from our guy.
That's
BJ.
my thoughts, man. I don't even gotta say nothing.
Spurs been flying. They've been running up and down the court. Wemby is qualified for season leader stats, so no one can catch him in blocks. Remember, he gave that out before the season started. Dan Kelly at plus 1,300. And it went down to what, plus 290 or plus 280 or plus 190? God, it went way and he gave it a 13-1. Nasty Nate says Wemby plays and Spurs smash. Now we're talking about a man who's still in San Antonio, and I have so much respect for that.
Still on the essay? What the fuck? This motherfucker hates his home.
Yes, the bigger bets are on the Spurs, Londo. We do have that information. Only 15% of the tickets, 32% of the cash is the situation. Both teams shooting the ball very poorly. The Jazz have not been this bad of a shooting team all year. Markinson a game time decision, but Clarkson out. So, they're shooting ugly. Now, uglier is the Spurs 26.4% from three. North Ender says exactly. Spurs just beat Durant. Jazz 6 straight L's. The last one, 115-105 at home to the Mavericks on Monday night. The Spurs coming off snapping their 3-game losing streak with a 104-102 win at home over the Suns on Monday without Victor Wembanyama. So do we wait for Wembanyama to be in and then bet the Jazz? The bigger bets are on the Spurs right now, but are those gamblers? Let me put this as a proposition. Are those gamblers saying that Wemby's going to be announced in, confirmed in, and the line's going to move, and maybe I can find are they playing that game, not necessarily thinking that the Spurs win outright? Take it away for us here, Dutch Spurs Jazz.
Yeah, man. Shout out to our guy Nasty Nate. But that's why I think if you're gonna bet this game, you got to bet Utah here, because of the fact that they did just smack the Suns. Came back after being down big, win outright. A good win there, but it's a big win for San Antonio. Going into a tough place, no matter who's on the roster for Utah, it's a tough place to play. They started off this first half. Now All-Star break has been different, but this has been a real good team at the house, especially against the numbers. So I have no action on this game, but I do believe it's a nice spot for Utah. Not betting the Jazz is of late whatsoever. They kind of just fell off the fucking board for me. Shout out to our guy Dabby Cab, though. The marking over the 3-point prop has been pretty solid of late. So if you're looking at this game, he's definitely the main guy there on Utah. So Young Bull's gonna get you some, but Mark is he's got the green light. So I would look his way, and I think Utah handles business if I had to bet this game, Jim. I don't think it's a good spot for San Antonio.
It's not a good spot. I'm a little surprised to see the big bet, but again, I think I figured out why. Because Wemby's going to be announced in. He participated in shoot around, as Professor Chris is saying, and so they know there's going to be a 1.5 move as soon as that's announced. So I imagine. Now we'll have to see if that all comes to fruition. And Professor Chris saying he may bet Jazz when Wemby's announced in. So again, you just have to be able to figure out a route for why these line moves have happened, and then it'll give you more confidence in your bet. So I'm going to wait here. And Troy Torrance again saying, I will bet Jazz only if Wemby is in. And BJ says this game is 1-800. Look, if you're looking for 1-800, we just all lived it together, smoking blunts and drinking Henny. We are 1-800. Let's move on. Final game on the board. Smoking Tree gave us a max play of the day. Nuggets team total over 117. We have the Suns 42-30, 19-16 on the road. The Denver Nuggets 51-21, 29-6 at home. Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Now, this is one of the games where you really want to talk about what happened the last time these teams met. And maybe we should always talk about it. In the NBA, I'm never sure how much players care. It's a different sport. These are the wealthiest men in North America. And so I wonder about the care factor at certain times. And maybe that's unfair. But the Suns on March 5th went into Denver and beat them 1-7. Say what, my man?
It's definitely not unfair. These motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
They complain about the 65 game rule, man. These guys, It's tough. I love this league, but it's tougher and tougher every day.
Yeah, it's always tricky. It's always tricky.
And you know who started it? You know who started all this shit? Jim, LBJ. He's really the one who did it.
It's an interesting angle that would be for a much bigger conversation. But Dan Kelly says, Jokic cares. But I know that Jokic cares overall, but he knows his team is, the team. We're the defending champions. I mean, is there any concern here? Situationally for where the Nuggets are. I mean, they have a half-game lead over the Oklahoma City Thunder, a 1.5 game lead over the Timberwolves. So this is probably a must-win game for the Nuggets. So Phoenix 3-2 over the past 5, 99 possessions game. That's 9th in the NBA, 54.9% field goal, 46.1% 3-point. Denver 4-1, 96.2 possessions game, 20th fastest. They've sped up a little bit over the last little while, 49.5 from the field and 42 from 3. I mean, can you imagine shooting 54.9 from the field over a 5-game stretch and 46.1% from 3 and losing 2 of those basketball games?
That's crazy.
I mean, it goes to show you why I'd be surprised if people want to back them in the playoffs, but maybe we'll get into those games here when we do. But opening up at 226.5, now 227.5, 1 point move to the over. And then from the spread scenario, we are sitting here with Denver at -7, -7 at -108. There's a 7.5. Is that Will Hill? There's a 7.5 at Will Hill. It's -7 at -108 at Pinnacle. So it's moved a half point towards the Phoenix Suns. Professor Chris talking about the under situation for both teams. Troy Torrance also liking the under. North Ender saying that he's leaning towards the Suns. Doubt he bets it. And pull this, pull that. KCP 3 or more threes at +260, and KCP 4 or more threes at a smaller bet at +700 for Polo this, Polo that. And I've run with Polo this, Polo that since I started doing this down in Costa Rica publicly. He's the real deal here. So keep an eye on his action. And then when we get to the cash flow for the final game on the card, 73% of the tickets, 84% of the cash on the Denver Nuggets. The lines moved a half point towards the Suns. 85% of tickets on the over. Suns had their 3-game winning streak snapped in that 104-102 loss to San Antonio on Monday. The Nuggets coming off their 4th straight win, 128-104 at home over Memphis on Monday. North End says Suns just got embarrassed. Let's see what Dutch Boy Fresh has to say about this one. And again, Smoke and Tree, Max play today. Nuggets team total over 117.
Yeah, man. Suns, though, they get embarrassed a lot. They really do. I mean, it's just kind of thing. Look at, the numbers that our boy Jim was giving it to you. They got guys that could put the ball in the bucket, most definitely. Some of the most elite scorers we see in this league today and probably for a long time. But at the same damn time, they don't play no defense. And the big thing here is, Denver's only lost 6 games this year at home. They're 29-6. And they recently lost to the Phoenix Suns at the crib in overtime. Tough game. Phoenix came out and just lit it up early. Nuggets come back and then take it to overtime. It was an impressive win. Probably the best win Phoenix had all year. Now you're going back in there. You could say they're pissed off because they lost to San Antonio, but you can line up the teams that they've lost to with or without the rosters. I mean, Phoenix Suns will just continue to disappoint. And I think it's a nice spot here for the Nuggets here. Phoenix is 3-8 ATS last 11 overall against the Nuggets against the number, and against the road we've been able to make money against Phoenix against the number. They're 3-7 ATS last 10 overall. Just a nice spot here for for Denver, who's been chilling at the crib now, won 5 straight, just elite, just playing elite at pretty much all levels. Joker's just got this team, really bought in. The coach Malone. Say what you will about him, but obviously they play for him. I like this Nuggets team, especially at the house. So I think it's a nice spot here. 7, I don't think it's too high. I think they really look to put it on these boys today. The big thing for me here with Phoenix is Nurkic did not practice yesterday. They have really no big man outside of him. So you're going to see a lot of Eubanks. Maybe I guess you see a little Bobo come back from Denver, maybe, but they're already lacking paint protection, and now Nurkic probably won't be in the lineup tonight. So I look to really fade Phoenix when Nurkic isn't out there. He's almost more bigger than one of the big 3 because the big 3, they don't got enough ball for the big 3. That's the problem. Plus, they can't play defense, and they don't got a point guard. But yeah, I like Joker and the boys here at home. I think laying the touchdown is good money.
And at this point, you have Beal and Nurkic game time decision. Also, and your thoughts on you have Jokic, Porter, Gordon, and Jamal Murray all game time decisions. Is there any concern?
From what I've seen, they're gonna play. Like mainly Joker and Porter. I don't think Murray. I don't think. From what I've seen out of Denver, no one's really too iffy about playing. I think Phoenix Nurkic is not gonna play. But even if he does play, I still think Denver smacks him. But I definitely think no Nurkic is big for Phoenix.
Dutch, you did a spectacular job. This was the whole show is based around NBA today, and you just did a great job breaking out a giant card here. Let's review all action. Gerald Jones, he's on Indiana Pacers -2.5. That's his best bet, which obviously makes me nervous because I'm going to be on the Bulls. Stacks play today's Rockets +7. BJ's max bet Clippers -5.5. I want the under in Cleveland Charlotte. I expect to wait. Dutch gets his card started with the Magic -4 at -115. That's going up against Jay Smooth. Smooth balls play today. Golden State +4. I'm very interested in joining you, Dutch. So, and then, the 1-800 Gamblers Anonymous Wizards +3.5 for me. Hawks first half -5.5, -113 for Dutch. I'm interested in that spot. Then Dutch is on the Clip Show -6 at -110. I'm really interested in joining you on that. Knicks Raptors, we have no action, but sadness. We have that in Toronto. A lot of sadness when it comes to that basketball team. The Bulls is my spot to Grizzlies. I'm going to wait on. I'm very interested in backing them, but I want to wait. I expect to get a better line. Pistons first quarter, I'm very interested in. I want more time. The Rockets +7, I just want a tiny bit more time on. Dutch is on the Rockets +7 at -108. I would like to join them on that. And then the Jazz, I'm with you guys. Wait until Wemby announced in. And I really, you know what? I got to take a picture of the. Let me just take a quick picture so I don't forget of exactly where the cash is right now. Sorry, take 1 second. There we go. I want to. Oh shit, that was the Suns game. My bad. I want to revisit this Jazz cash flow. So at this point, 17% of the tickets and 32% of the cash is on the Spurs. Just 5,901 tickets in. Let's get this right over here. And okay, there we go. Screenshot it, baby. Okay, and then and I'm sure Jose's laughing at the screenshot is something even so minuscule is new for me. With technology. Nuggets -7 is how Dutch closes up the card, and I'm very interested in joining you on that one as well. Here, just gonna need a little bit more time. So there you go, Dutch. You're a monster, man. You're a monster. So with our live betting hoops show, because everybody wants to know your thoughts and plans. You're now not doing Wednesdays. You're doing Sundays. Is that right?
Yeah, man. We do Sundays. Me and Mikey Money. We come to you for the marquee game on Sundays, NBA, and obviously with the madness. So we probably get a little bit more people vibing out with us here this next week. Obviously with March Madness going on, so that'll be more of a main focus too. But yeah, we'll bring it live, man. Sundays. 3 Eastern, around 2:45 Eastern time. Me and the Pimp and whoever else wants to join, of course. Reach out, we'll bring it to you. But yeah, I believe Mikey and Cab and the crew, Billy and them, Wednesday nights, we got that slot. They're gonna keep it on. But yeah, unfortunately, Wednesday nights, I can't really make Wednesday nights work for me. But I definitely love the All About the Hoops. We've been making money, and it gets us a good read here on the NBA games. Helps us out throughout the week. To finish the week strong there on Sunday. So I really enjoy it with the Pimp. So we'll continue that too. And as I mentioned, we're going to look to grow throughout the summer too. I think the live shows are dope. Like we get a couple hours to vibe out. Kind of, it helps everyone. That's what got me back into the college basketball, the live streams. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
it's great, and it just brings the community together, after the capping and then at night. So I'd like to be involved in those spots as well. Dutch, thank you for rocking with us. Respect, get that cash. Please follow Dutch Onyx at Dutch Boy Fresh. And Dutch, thank you, my man. Any final words before you head off, man?
Yeah, my man. Appreciate you, Jim. Man, hey, we broke it down like a pound, man. Y'all do run up the motherfucking likes. 12-game NBA card. Gave you a 5-piece, and we're going straight to the motherfucking window. Y'all stay fresh.
Let's get it. It is almost horse race time. King Al says, what's your favorite NBA game today? I do think it's the under in the Cavaliers Hornets. So I'm going to watch it a little closer. I'm hoping that it continues to rise. I would say that's my favorite. It's very difficult to answer that question at this point, because how can I sit here and be like really confident on the Bulls and Wizards at +3.5? I'm going to bet them. I believe in them, but I can't say, oh, it's my favorite look on the board, so I would say it's that under. All right. It is now time to bring back Jose Sweet Tea Tits Bouquet to the show. Horse racing time. Jose, how are you? You do look like you're in a good spot mentally.
Yeah. You actually said this year. You sound concerned. Am I all right? You look concerned.
Yeah, you just look like you just sparked, though.
Okay, no, I did. Yeah, but obviously, no. This year was funny. You said that I seemed like I liked you guys more this year than any of the PBA Paloozas, so that seemed like a good thing.
I did feel that way enormously, that you liked us more. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was more relaxed this year. It was less events, so I didn't have to freak out about getting people places. So it was nice and nice. And obviously, when you have Newkirker around, he's just good vibes and makes you relax. So
he is great vibes. Are you using the mic? I'm not entirely sure. Is the mic on?
Let's find out. No, good call.
Okay. Right.
Jimmy. The rules. It's a lovely thing. Hello, Jimmy.
You sound good. Okay, let's get into Nash Nate says gay. You know what? Nash Nate's been there for all 3 years. He can answer that question. You were nice.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
We went to Retama Park today, and it cost absolutely nothing to get into Retama Park. Matter of fact, it only cost you $10 if you want to park.
Do it.
But Jose, how much did you?
I'd like to point out Mike's giggle of just pure joy. I cry every time I hear Mike's
We went to Retama Park today, and it cost absolutely nothing to get into Retama Park. Matter of fact, it only cost you $10 if you want to park.
Do it.
But Jose, how much did you?
He's thrilled. He can't say he's not thrilled. You heard him. Don't let Mikey lie to you guys. He enjoyed that as well.
Oh no, that's the happiest I've ever seen him.
Exactly. It was the he had a great hand in poker. I took a picture of him. He was thrilled. I've never seen him happier. And then right up there, he was just thrilled to have me plop on his lap. And his leg was comfortable, I will admit it. So shout out.
Don't do that.
But I think we need to listen to it at least one more time.
We went to Retama Park today, and it cost absolutely nothing to get into Retama Park. Matter of fact, it only cost you $10 if you want to park.
Do it.
But Jose, how much?
Stop. Don't play that again. Don't play it again. All right. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
All
Man,
right.
Shout out to Mikey.
So
Man.
what is our plan for horse racing? Do we have 3?
Let's just let this ride, Jimmy.
All
Let's
60?
just let this
All
ride.
60?
All 61 horses on the track. We have a fucking gigantic card tomorrow.
Yeah, we got
14 NHL games, apparently. A shitload of baseball. The NBA's there. March Madness is here again. I can feel Jimmy's sweat and anxiety from across the TV screen. It's very nice. It's going to be very fun. By the way, shout out to our Friday horse race. I don't know if you remember it. Nasty Nate losing by just a taint hair. Lost by a taint hair last time. So Nasty Nate, we're wishing for better luck for you guys.
Wait, we should answer this question. Will we be starting the show earlier? And we won't be. The game started at 1:10 p.m. The first game. Jose and I will talk about order, but No, it'll always be at 11. We'll have time every time, and we don't need NHL to open things up or anything like that. So we'll figure that out together here. 60 of us, 61 of us going at it for a minute. Are you sure that's the time to do? Do we want to? Is this 20 to 60? 0 to 100? Sorry, you guys are making.
What do you want? How long you want? You want to go 30 seconds? You want to go 0 to 1,000?
Maybe a minute and 30 seconds.
Okay. You want a minute and 30 seconds. Fine. No problems. No problems. The man asketh, I shall deliver the goodness.
Okay. You give us the first 45 seconds. Jose, you give us the nay, and I will take us home. Good luck to all of you guys. Also, thank you so much for being gold members and for supporting our channel. It means the world to us. We are opening up new things for gold members, including the Peter Loshak forum that will be only for gold members, where you can ask him anything. But take us home, Jose. Take us home, and first 45 seconds, I'll close it up.
Yeah, you guys might be able to ask Loshak for a picture of his raccoon jacket.
I have the picture. I was going to send it to you for today's show, but I decided to wait for Tuesday. I'm gonna wait for Tuesday.
Please do. I haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it. I never saw it. Yeah,
I've got the perfect pick for you, but we're gonna wait for Loshak and back on Tuesday.
Okay, excellent.
Johnny
I have not
This
seen
is Johnny Gunn's first horse races. Kelsey has a good question. Do gold members get to sit on Mikey's lap?
No, Kelsey. Unfortunately, that's just reserved for me, myself, and I, Kelsey. That is just for me, myself, and I. By the way, shout out to Kelsey, who's doing some pizza thing in Toronto sometime soon. Whatever, I don't know. But shout out to you, Kelsey.
Wow.
All right, let's get after it here, because I can't get Mike's fucking squeal of joy out of my head now. All right, appreciate everyone that came to Public Palooza.
O'Brien Palmer asking, how do you become a gold member? Jose, can you help answer that?
Oh, Brian, that's a great question. Oh, Brian, I'll give you 30 seconds to become a gold member, and if I see your name pop up right there, I'll fucking put you in this horse race right now. But O'Brien, all you have to do, I'm assuming you hit that little $sign button, you see perks or whatever it is. It's one of the two things, and then you can go from there, and it's just an upgrade to a gold membership. It's $9.99 a month. You get an entry into all of these horse races. Even if you're here or not, your name is always going to be in here, and it's always a chance to win $50. So it's very nice indeed. Johnny Gunn says you can only do it from the computer. I've heard back and forth. I don't remember how I did it, but yeah, I've heard back and forth on that. But yes, it is going to be very, very funny. And yes, that is true. Nate got my pussy polluted. He did. He helped in that process. Very colorful drinks in loud bars. It was an excellent time. So it was very nice. But appreciate everyone in here.
I only went to one establishment. Oh, I went to Starbucks twice. Other than Starbucks, I only went to one place in all of San Antonio.
Congratulations. And our good friends Southtown 101. Or
I went to Retama. I went to Retama Horse Track. on Sunday.
And the poker tournament as well.
Oh, and the Brooklyn Poker. Okay, okay. Sorry,
this is falling apart. This is falling apart.
I barely went anywhere. Let me say. Okay, take us home. Take us home, O'Brien Palmer. Yeah, it's not giving you an option on phone. We'll get it. We'll get you on Friday. Let's get that. Oh, Denny's. Troy says Denny's at 5 a.m.
And Denny's.
Okay. And also, how do you become a gold member? Yet another thing I have no recollection of. Jose, take us home. You open up the first 45 seconds.
All right. We're racing in San Antonio on that beautiful Jimmy Tapita. Look at that Tapita. Freshly cut by all my cousins. It's a great time.
Synthetic. This is turf.
Oh, well, Jimmy, it's all the same in my book. We pay the big bucks to make it look synthetic, but it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass? Who knows? But the horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Lexicon, Colin making a charge. Old James the Bag in the front here as well. So Saturated making a move. Watch out for Saturated, Jimmy. Take it home.
We have never seen a horse go gate to wire. I know that Jimmy the Bag is in first place, but I don't think you guys need to worry. This would be the first time we see gate to wire. Nut flush, and there he goes.
And there he
goes backwards. Johnny Guns, though. Johnny Guns in his first race, starting to also move backwards.
Yep.
Mikey Money also moving backwards. Sammy Comer and Dabby Cab leading the way. We have 23 seconds left in this horse race. Here comes the Eldorado custodian, Jason Meyer, in the inside. And Ricky Bobby moving for 15 seconds left. Ricky Bobby trying to come home with it. Rez Mob trying to come home with it too. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Rez Mob make a run? Can Saturated make a run? Is Saturated going to do it? Saturated trying to get to the wire. This is my race to win. He says this is my race to win. This is my race to win. Says, and Jimmy the Back came second. I didn't even see myself come back up.
Yeah.
Wow. And, I was thinking of some of the things that we missed doing. We were too, I don't know, maybe I should speak about myself, too intoxicated to get these horse races in the bar.
Oh yeah, no. You were the pollutant was nonplussed about the idea of doing that because you're like, I want to bet a real thing. That was what the pollutant told me.
I don't remember. I wish we had done them. I wish we had done them. Myself, I wish we had done them. Joey Harb, your winner. Jimmy the Bag second. Billy Friedrich third. Place money gets you nothing. And also last place gets you nothing. But we're always curious to see who brought up the tail end. Congratulations, Joey Harb. Joey Harb, $50. Richard, just email pubsportsradio@gmail.com. Who was last? I'm surprised that I came second. We've never seen a horse go gate to wire, and we almost did. Maybe it is something that's possible here. Let's see. Juan Ruiz, a 2-time winner.
Maybe it is possible. By the way, shout out to our guy. I'm already forgetting his name, Johnny Guns, who is experiencing the horse races for the first time. Shout out to you, Johnny Guns. All right. Last place. Nasty Nate. So close, but it's Gerald Jones. So close, Nasty Nate. Gerald Jones, thank you for coming out. Oh, man.
Joey Harp, congratulations on your victory. Let's review all action here, Jose, and then put a bow on this without seeing. I do not want to see. Please.
I forgot about it. Don't remind me of it.
I do not want to see. We have both Jay Peasy and Joey Marinaccio, the Dapper Capper, upgrading their membership to PSR Gold. That means a ton to us. Thank you, guys. That means a ton to us.
Thank you, gents.
In NHL, we stayed off the Senators Sabres game. It's a real tough one for me. If I had a free bet, I would lean towards the Senators, but I wouldn't do it confidently, but I would lean towards the Senators with Buffalo returning from the road trip. And I kind of like, I talked enough about Angus Crookshank. Let's just move on. For the next game, though, we have action. C-Mac on DeBrusque over 2.5 shots, plus 135, and over half point at plus 100. I am on the Lightning, but I haven't bet it yet. I was so concerned about Braden Point and Victor Hedman, but I will be betting it. Then Morgan Spooner on Seattle U money line, and the Newkirker on High Point at plus 1.5. So those guys going heads up. Razor Sharp Picks gave us a Seattle High Point under 151. I'm curious to see what it's at right now, but C-Mac moved on the first half under 71.5, and Mikey Money on Seattle first half and full game. And I will want to run with that first half under as well. Then we move on to the next spot on the board. Mikey Money moved on Purdue Fort Wayne IPFW minus 118. I'd like to join him on that one. It again won't be comforting. Mikey's on UNLV money line and plus 6.5. I really want to fade how spectacular they've been playing it back Seton Hall. We've seen this big move towards Seton Hall. 6.5 is just too much. And if it comes all the way back, I'd probably be a little nervous. C-Max on VCU plus 8. Mikey Money's on the first half under and the full game under. He's got to lean to the first half under. I'm interested in the full game under, but I'm gonna need a little bit more time to sit with it. So that is our college basketball breakdowns, and then we've already reviewed NBA.
I can't hear Mikey's name anymore. I can't do it anymore. We have to do it now.
We went to Retama Park today, and it cost absolutely nothing to get into Retama Park. Matter of fact, it only costs you $10 if you want to park. Do it. But Jose, how much did you pay?
He's like a little boy on Christmas. He got his toys.
I think if you want to play it more, we have to cut it from exactly when Dabby Cab says sit on. I know it's really funny to hear that you paid to get into Retama. I mean, that makes us laugh. but just for the tightness.
Yeah,
of the foot.
$46. God damn. Got me over a fucking barrel. The fucking they got me over a damn barrel that day. And of course I paid another $15 for a corn dog that I found out was a sausage dog and I didn't want promptly. So
Wow, not poor decisions. Poor decisions.
poor decisions.
I gave you an old ticket of mine from Woodbine. Remember, I gave you an old ticket from my wallet. And you proceeded to go try and cash it.
I tried to catch it in the machine and to the lady. Yes. Yes. She's like, "Oh, this is for Woodbine." And I was like, "God damn it." Literally, I was combining like $1.30 and then like another 95 cents for a ticket.
That was good stuff.
Oh fuck!
That she must be like, who is this gambler here?
Yeah, who the fuck is this young asshole?
Right.
Man, shout out to our guy Joe. What was that old man's name? That guy was dishing knowledge at Ratama.
That guy nonstop talked when you guys were gone. We stayed there till 7. I mean, that guy was just nonstop.
I mean, of course, yeah. He was handing out winners, though. I'm sure.
88 years old, just going nonstop. All right, it's time to put a bow on this. I gotta get action in. We got a lot of work to do. We have maybe the biggest day of the year tomorrow. So we got a lot of work to do. Thank you guys so much. It's a sea of green in the chat, and that means the world to us. O'Brien, this will be part of the Surviving Mike M documentary.
Yeah, you guys don't know what really happened at Palooza with Mike M.
Oh, yeah, right. O'Brien Palmer, Justin McKelvey, Real Deal Prime, Ricky Bobby, Johnny Guns, Bo Jackson, Julian Cesario, Joey Harb right there. There's Joey Harb, our winner. Boom. I didn't see in chat again. I haven't slept now in like 26 hours. So
shout out to you, Joey.
And I can't, what people don't understand is you can't go to sleep now.
They have a whole day.
You got to make it through the whole day and night to have a chance to sleep tonight. So Kelsey, thank you for rolling with us. Says use Mikey Squeal of Joy as your ringtone. Thank you guys all. Ricky Bobby, Gerald Jones, Joey Harb, Tori Coker, and Nordy. Nordy, please stay in touch with us. We're all thinking about you guys, the family at the hospital right now. So we're all thinking about you, Nordy, and man, we have so much love for you and true belief that good news is coming, and the strength that you guys have all shown is inspiring, and we love you, Nordy. So thinking about Rebecca Evans right now, Jay Peasy, Mally Mal, Philly Eagle Flyer, Kelly McInnes, Old E, Troy Torrance, Dave Redling, Nasty Nate, still in San Antonio, Rem Most, BJ. I wish we could give you all the love. Joe T, Von Polo.
I think we have to call Mike now the pimp lap pod of the day. Now that's what I've decided. There's the daddy's lap pod floating around there. I like the pimp lap.
I don't think that he's going to enjoy that.
It's all right, and I'll be seeing him every Monday now, so I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna hey pimp lap. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great time, guys. So don't forget to tune into that on Mondays as well.
That is our show for today. It's a wild one. Jose, can you please bless our action and take us in the future? But truly, thank you guys for your support. We have nothing without you. So thank you so much. Jose, bless our action and lead us into the future, my man.
Yep. Shout out to all you guys. By the way, I said this plenty of times, but the biggest surprise for me at Palooza was seeing the size on Troy Torrance, just a fucking giant. So shout out to you, Troy. Nasty Nate. Hopefully I'll see you later
All-American
tonight.
wide receiver. What do you think he was?
I told you. I thought he was Wes Welker, Julian Edelman. I thought he was a little receiver that had some great cuts. But, I was wrong. Instead, he's Randy Moss. Yes. Alec Dirks.
Troy Torrance and New Worker, the champ. Oh, do we say?
No one heard that. By the way, Mikey suggested, one day that I need to come up to that the triangle of cappers that's over there. Rochester, Belleville. They're all all that area where Dan Kelly lives as well. So, Jimmy, you'll have to show me how to get across the Canadian border.
or we can not go across the border and do it at like Seneca, so that the Americans that can't cross border can still party with us. I think that's probably what we should end up doing. Have it like a Seneca Summit of Champions right at the Niagara Falls, New York side.
Sure, I don't know what that is.
It's not easy to get over these borders. So
yeah, I'm interested. I want to cross the border up there and see the Six. It'd be lovely to do a Jose Does Canada thing, but I don't know if they let me in
over the border. Unfortunately,
well, they don't. We'll see. I can't wait.
That. You can squash because yours is like petty ass shit. You should squash it. But it's so petty, but still like you have to lie to their face and hope it doesn't come up when they swipe your passport. And like, do you want to have a full trip based on that?
I'll be interested to see. It'll be a fun. It's going to be a fun experience.
It's not interesting at all to see. These border guards are not interesting at all.
Yeah, the southern ones are not my favorite as well. So I agree with that. All right, let's get out of here. Appreciate everyone as always. I think we all know we're ending the show on. Thanks everyone for watching. Hey, Los Bookmakers.
We went to Retama Park today, and it cost absolutely nothing to get into Retama Park. Matter of fact, it only costs you $10 if you want to park. But Jose, how much